'Tis the season to cozy up with all your favorite holiday movies and shows.
You coming?
Where?
To the North Pole, of course.
Like a very Jonas Christmas movie and Home Alone on Disney+.
Should I burn down the joint? I don't think so.
Then snuggle up with the Polar Express and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with Hulu on Disney+.
I think we're all in for a very big Christmas treat.
This season, there's something for everyone with Hulu on Disney+. Bundle subscription required. Terms apply. Visit disneyplus.com/Hulu for details.
Running a business means I wear lots of hats. Luckily, when it's time to put on my hiring hat, I can count on LinkedIn to make it easy. I can post a job for free or pay to promote it and get 3 times more qualified candidates. Imagine finding your next great hire in 24 hours. 86% of small businesses do. With LinkedIn, I can also easily share my job with my network. No other job site lets me do that. Post your free job at linkedin.com/achieve. That's linkedin.com/achieve. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from New York. It's the show that has also been wondering why Nick Wright wasn't too active on social media, bro. People were bugging me, where's Nick? Where's your guy? And now the start of the show, he's not here, but we do have an explanation finally. It was a rough holiday week. Oh, it's our
It's not funny, Brou.
You're also.
Your team's 6-6 and got whooped too. In some crummy division, you get a pass. Can't even get up here.
Don't hurt yourself any more than you already are.
Bad shape. Gotta listen to this clown. It'd be the right one.
The foam neck thing is absurd.
Foam neck thing. I have whiplash. Supposed to be in traction.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you should keep the foam thing on. Okay. It's the first
I'm in bad shape.
I know.
It's not that funny.
I know it's not.
I had sympathy for you, Brou.
Today, Thanksgiving leftovers. Is Nick ready to quit on the Chiefs cold turkey? Meanwhile, Brou reveals his Cowboys grade, and we kick around Cowboys to the playoffs. Wow. I might stake out that piece of real estate. You know what? I've had it. Now I'm doing some landscaping.
It's rising in value.
Thank you.
It's rising.
And finally, are the Eagles in trouble? Well, good question, Dusty. The answer is yes, very much so. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes. Nick, do you even have the foam neck thing on correctly? Is the Velcro supposed to be on the front?
Maybe that's why it's not giving me the relief I expected. Bad shape.
First
in bad shape, man. I've never been like this.
No.
I showed up here with a legit broken arm in less pain than I am right now.
We're starting with keeping it 100 about the 500 Chiefs. They lose in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Kansas City defense allows Dallas to cook 457 total yards. That's too much. Mahomes had 4 touchdowns and some pretty sweet plays. Yeah. The grand scheme of things. Here he was post-game.
At the end of the day, you just gotta win every game now. And hope that's enough. So, we're gonna play a lot of good football teams coming up. And if we're gonna make the playoffs, we're gonna have to win them all. And that's gotta be the mindset when we step into the building when we get back.
We've asked this question after several Chiefs losses.
Usually after Chiefs wins.
Sometimes after Chiefs close wins.
Yeah.
And it has never worked as a question to the point where we had a conversation about it and we were like, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we slightly reworded it. Okay, now is it time to worry about the Chiefs?
Of course it's time to worry.
Wow.
Listen, after the Denver loss, I sat here and let me go back a step further. After the Bills loss, going into the bye, when they were at 5-4, I said, listen, tough loss given the fact that they had already given some games away, but I expect them to finish 12-5. And I remember your reaction. You were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. I think they're going to go 12-5. They then lost their immediate next game, and after that Denver game, I said, well, 12-5 is not going to happen when you're 5-5. They need to go 6-1 the rest of the way. Yeah. That was 1-1 ago. So that means the margin of error is down to nothing. Now, Patrick seems confident. The fact that Patrick, for the first time in his career, is not just talking about the next game. I found noteworthy.
That's interesting.
And the fact that Andy Reid today, we don't have the sound yet. He did it 20 minutes ago. You guys probably haven't seen the quote. Andy Reid was damn near defiant in his press conference today about how close they are, how the odd turn of phrase he chose, which is the Chiefs are going to tickle your tonsils on every play the rest of the season. His words, not mine. I don't even know what it means. And that they seem to believe they can rip off 5 in a row. But here's why it's a problem, and it's a problem greater than the fact that they are up against the best pass rush in football on Sunday night, certainly without their starting left tackle, who's out for a month or longer, and maybe without their starting right tackle as well, which would put them in a terrible position. Here's the problem. The problem is the old Chiefs that you guys wanted so badly to be back are back, but in a bad way. Because the old Chiefs, the 2018 Chiefs, had a lot of games like that Cowboys game where Mahomes does magical stuff, where they score a bunch of points, where Mahomes' numbers are good, but they can't get a stop. And that's the problem. This Chiefs team has the 6th fewest sacks in football, the 4th fewest turnovers in football, and on 3rd and long, they cannot get off the field. From post-Tyreek Hill trade.
3rd and long.
Third and long.
Yeah.
So 3rd and long, post-Tyreek Hill trade. Because I do look at the Chiefs as 2018 to 2021 might have been the most fun, but it was 2 Super Bowl trips, 1 Super Bowl victory, and 2 AFC Championship losses. 2022 to 2024, when the defense was able to more than hold up its end, they went to all 3 Super Bowls, they won 2 of them. This year, they can't get off the field, which has led to this stunning stat and graphic. 3 times this year, Mahomes has executed, go to the next one, Dust, please, a 4th quarter comeback and lost. For context, and I'm not doing a Brady comp, but just for context, that happened to Brady it was year 15. When in his career he had executed a 4th quarter comeback and they lost 3 times. It's happened 3 times this season. They can't get off the field. And when we were going to war on Wednesday, maybe more than we should have, about the predictions for the game, Brou and I both said we felt very confident Mahomes would cook, more confident in that than that the Chiefs would necessarily win, because what I was worried about could happen is what happened. They couldn't get off the field. And so now they have no margin of error left, and they have to run the table. So, yeah, it's time to worry, legitimately.
Yeah, it's obviously time to worry. Because of their pedigree, because of the respect you have for them and what they've done, you give them a small chance of getting this done. But the thing is, they have not shown any evidence outside of their history that they can run the table. Now, here's one good thing for them. The other teams that they are battling with, Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville, they have the Chargers. The Chargers have a really tough schedule. And Herbert, is banged up as well as the offensive line. So those teams do have tough schedules. 10-7 won't do it, though. They have to run the table. They have to win out. But there is a little hope because of the schedules of some of these teams. But Nick alluded to it, the injuries on the offensive line. Like Josh Simmons is going to be out this week. Maybe, Trey might be out.
I think Josh is going to be out, Brou,
he might be out, right. Yes. He could be out the rest of the season. And you're facing Houston, which is the 2nd best pass rushing team in the league, and maybe the hottest team in the league.
I think they're the best defense
right now. The defense is phenomenal. And CJ, we'll see what their offense can do. He was okay yesterday, wasn't great, CJ Stroud. But that Houston game is a killer because of their pass rush and the Chiefs' injuries on the offensive line. I think I have a graphic here. Mahomes was obviously great this last game, but you see against pressure, struggles a bit. The passer rating, the completion percentage, yards per pass, just mediocre, certainly by his standards. Those aren't Mahomesian. So if Houston gets that pass rush on him, then I think it's going to be tough.
The completion percentage number throws me. Like, I don't. If you're playing the Texans and you know there's going to be a lot of pressure, I wonder if that's a result of play calls.
But so here's the thing.
30th just seems wild.
Right, but so when you play the Texans, you know there's going to be a lot of pressure. That's where that stat can not tell you exactly what you're talking about. Because if the plan against Houston is quick passes, those won't count as under pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he won't. He won't have been pressured
so it's like
yet.
Cam Ward,
right?
J.J. McCarthy, and then Mahomes just seems.
Listen,
great. And I don't know.
And Mahomes, I'm not I can't say last year I thought Mahomes had a great year because of the clutch stuff in the record, and then this year say he's having a great year despite the record. Right. But to me, that card cuts in both directions. Folks that last year didn't care about the win-loss record, this year I don't think should hold it against him. He's fourth in the NFL in touchdowns. He's second in yards. In Bru's favorite stat, EPA, he's first. Wow. In QBR, he's second.
You're not saying he's having a great year.
I think that here's what I think. I think that he is far and away right now the best. He is doing his job on the Chiefs better than anybody else. I think that I think that they have some, at the moment, structural offensive problems that I think he's one of the only quarterbacks that could mask. Yeah. And I think the biggest problem is the defense. Do I think he's having the best Mahomes season? I do not. But the reason that you're saying you're not going to write them off is not because of the jerseys. It's because of him and Andy. It's because of and I did think Patrick played great on Thursday. I thought he played great. They couldn't get off the field. And it was third and long again and again and again. And I'm not going to complain about the calls. The calls are the calls. It is what it is.
5 first downs on penalties in the second half.
Well, that's,
part of it is like stop grabbing the guys, but then it almost felt like there was a little penalty momentum. Can I be the guy that believes in the Chiefs? Since I am beloved in Kansas City.
But you don't, though.
I believe in now that I'm on the underdog, I will go back to believing in them. I just believed in the Cowboys at home more.
You believe in them winning out.
I believe that the Chiefs are not the same team on the road as they were at home. That's one of the reasons I picked the Cowboys. They're 5-1 at home. Their 3 toughest games, Texans, Chargers, Broncos, are at home.
And their road games are Tennessee and the Raiders.
Right.
So the Raiders, who did you see? What? They were eliminated from playoff contention last night. I couldn't see that one coming. I gotta tell you, officially, they have a little E next to their name on the standings. I did not see that one coming.
So win your home games. No, the away games are super easy, and cut down 119 in penalties is the second most since.
Here's the reality of it, Brou.
Stop doing that.
And tell me if you. I think you might agree with me. If they win on Sunday Night Football, I know myself, and I know what I'll see there. I will come here Monday and say, if they beat the Chargers, they're making the playoffs. Yeah. And if they win Sunday, I will feel like beat the Chargers and you're going to the playoffs and you will be the scariest team in a wide open AFC. Mm-hmm. And so we are a game away from feeling like you're a game away, but they had a critical game against Denver, a critical game against Dallas. They had fourth quarter leads in both, and they lost both. Now, you offset it a bit by the comeback against the Colts, but that's why it's hard to just blindly, even though every year of Mahomes' career, he's had at least a 5-game winning streak, and that's what they would need at this point.
That Raiders game would be crazy.
You know what?
There's no way they losing to the Raiders.
Every time I make a
with
prediction.
Something on the line?
No way.
The Raiders? No, you are. You're right, man.
That's like the kiss of death on Upset Alert. Coach is like, you know what? Panthers over Rams. Bro's like, no way. What's the 36% right now?
According to the Athletic Playoff.
Athletic Playoff predictor, bro.
Yeah.
I'm giving them.
He's giving them less. I was going to say Bru's giving them less.
Cowboys rolling. They beat the Eagles last Sunday. Chiefs on Thanksgiving are looking at a date with the Lions this Thursday. Dak at 320. CD and George Pickens combined for 200 and some highlight reel plays, including a hurdle. Here's Jerry Jones.
We're playing teams that are obviously hard to beat, and they don't go easy, as you can see right at the end. But what a thrill to compete at this level. I really can't say enough about how our defense is shaping up. I don't remember a better 2 games back-to-back here at home.
Right.
And these guys played inspired.
Okay, Brou, what grade are you giving the Cowboys?
Well, look, obviously it was a tremendous performance by them. I can't say enough about what they're doing right now. Look, 3 straight wins. Last 2 wins against the teams in the Super Bowl last year. The last 2 Super Bowl champions, obviously. So they're playing great, and Trent McDuffie and crew could not handle CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Dak was great. And, Nick, the defense I thought was good. They held the Chiefs scoreless in the second and third quarters, gave up the 2 touchdowns early, and the first one was after the interception, so it was a short field. And then, held the Chiefs pretty good till the fourth and the Chiefs scored. And so that defense, we know if that defense just is solid, we've been saying it all year.
They're really dangerous.
The offense is great, and they are absolutely dangerous. So I do fear Jerry saying the wrong thing, getting way ahead of himself. He hasn't uttered Super Bowl yet, but that's probably coming too early.
Great call.
And maybe that'll derail things. But, hey, right now, there's only 1 grade to give them for what they did the other day. And it...
Great acting.
He's just the best.
Well, look, Nick stole my bit early on, so I got to steal one of your bits and go to the Banners. A-game.
Another A-game. A-game, A-game, A-game. A-game.
A-game. My boys are on the world tour. They couldn't make it here today.
Okay.
But we'll get them back soon. But, look, Dallas is balling. There's no doubts about it.
So I want to say something about Dak because, again, if people didn't watch Wednesday's show, you don't need to. They're
binging it. Like, I got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, don't worry. But we got into probably a more heated argument than we typically do on this show, even though I want this show to be competitive sports debate. You guys want it to be a friendly hang. And some of it was based on Brou and I saying, Mahomes in a big game, Dak in a big game, this is a big game, playoff adjacent, and Wild was like, it's not the playoffs. We were like, but kind of it is. And
Wild saying, Mahomes is a very
good player, but let's not get it. Hold on.
He's just a mediocre guy.
But to that note, I was more impressed by Dak's performance after he threw the first pick. Like, because I know obviously he was better after that was his first pass of the game, or second pass of the game. My point is, I was more impressed by how he played than I would have been if he had never thrown the pick. Because it felt like, the moment that happened, it's like, oh, this reminds me of the start of the Packer playoff game, that it was like, oh, this is 50 million people watching, season on the line, playing the Chiefs. He's been playing great, throws the pick, and it's going to spiral on him. And the opposite happened. He played great. He has to be, I don't want to overstep, he has to be on Brou's ballot this week, in my opinion. Like, they're now above 500. They're in the playoff mix. We've talked about how up and down it is. He's been great. Great. And I also give him, maybe it's fair or not, I give him some credit for how inbounds George Pickens has been all year.
Sure.
I should also give George credit. Well, but he hasn't got the contract yet.
Upcoming.
Contract year. And so we said before the season when they traded Micah, he's got to have the Joe Burrow year from last year. And he's doing it. He is replicating it almost to the exact record. They didn't have a tie, but they were a game over 500. And listen, they played Detroit Thursday. It's just, around the corner. And it's for both those teams, by the way, it should be that's usually the best Thursday game of the year because it's a Thursday game where teams are on full rest, which we normally don't get. And this one is huge. Both teams, whatever playoff hopes they have, are in the balance. And so I agree with you entirely. Obviously, it's an A game. I think Quinnen Williams is playing the best football he's played since his second year with the Jets. And right now, I still think the math is really against them. But if you see them on the schedule, to me, it's like seeing a 9-3 team on the schedule. You know what I like?
They are clearly a playoff caliber team
right now.
But look, throw up their schedule real quick. After Detroit,
they got a real shot.
It gets kind of light.
Yes.
And so, can they win out? They should be able to. Minnesota, the Chargers, who are banged up, even Herbert now. Washington looked good last night, but still. And the Giants. I mean, this is the game.
Listen, Washington should have Jaden back.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are playing for the season. They play two desperate teams in Detroit and the Chargers. And you play Washington, which is your divisional rival with their quarterback back. And then so it's not I would say that's like an average.
Compared to a lot of teams that are fighting for that last spot,
they just have what they kind of need, because I don't think any of the 8 NFC West teams are collapsing, and they're all at 9 wins already. Right. 9-3, 9-3, 9-4. What they really need is the team we're about to talk about to full-on collapse. Like, their best path, Brou, might be same as your Ravens. Like, where it's just winning the division rather than chasing down Seattle, which I don't think is realistic.
Which is on the board. Let's head to Philadelphia, where the Eagles lost the number 1 spot after losing their 2nd straight game. Did they come out ready to play in this game against the Bears? No. 2 first downs in the first half. Here's Saquon.
This game was weird. It was different. Felt weird out there. I think we just got to do a better job of, keeping drives going. That's kind of like the biggest takeaway I take from this game. And that's something that we have to address and we got to get better at. The sky's falling outside the locker room. We understand that. But I have nothing but the utmost confidence in the men in this locker room.
So, what was your number 1 takeaway?
Well, I'm going to risk really overstepping in all 3 of our topics here. Because the first topic, I wore a robe, and that's a Brou bit. The second topic, I talked about Brou's ballot.
Yes.
Third topic, I'm just going to ask a question. Is the Funk Watch back on, Brou? Because
watch, yes.
I
don't see it.
You don't see it?
No.
Did you not watch the game?
This was a bad loss, but I'm saying the watch is on. I'm not ready to say they've fallen into the supernatural.
No, but it's starting to get a little
But
funky.
yeah, you got to watch.
Yeah.
You gotta watch
Brou, and this is – so here is – I know that you and I both picked the Cowboys to beat the Eagles, which made it to where we couldn't really act like we thought the sky was falling, because we thought, hey, probably due for a loss, divisional opponent. This one felt so different. And the Eagles' offensive stats are finally catching up to how the offense has looked all year. And if we show them to you, it to me just looks like a broken offense. The points per game is top 20 barely. Everything else is basically bottom third or bottom quarter in the league. That is, of course, in line with what their superstar, highly minted running back Saquon Barkley is producing for them, which is, we can show it to you, unfathomable. Being 39th in the NFL in yards per rush is unbelievable. And a little context for overall production they've gotten from Saquon this year. This is a funny, like a silly graphic, but that is, Saquon has given them 400 more rushing yards, and that's it, than Mahomes. Look, 10-yard runs, the same. Touchdowns, the same. Like, that is...
So do you think this is suppose, I know that players can't be traded. If he was traded to the Rams, do you think it'd still be like, Saquon has lost a step? Because I know it's your theory, but you have...
Well, I think Saquon has misplaced a step that I expect him to get back next year. I think that lost a step to me. Yeah, it's a wear and tear year.
It's a temporary loss.
It's not. Yeah,
and he's done this before. Like, he's had years where he's averaged below 4 yards a carry.
But I'm trying to say, I think it's the problems are Saquon independent of Saquon.
You think it's the scheme and the O-line.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the O-line is not nearly as good. I tend to lean toward what you're saying.
Okay.
I don't think Saquon's what he was last year, but I do lean toward where you're at. Philly, look. First of all, props to the Bears. All right, great win for them. I know we'll talk about them later. But I was stunned by, I did not have much belief in the Bears. And now I think you have to give them a legitimate shot of doing something in the playoffs. All right, so props to them. Secondly, the positive thing for you Eagles fans out there, A.J. Brown not squawking. All right, he's getting his numbers. He is not squawking right now. No negative comments from A.J., all right? But, Nick, you talked about the offense, and we get it. That was definitely not good. The defense is what stunned me.
Just getting run on like that?
Run over. Yeah. 280 yards rushing. 2 100-yard rushers. And it wasn't like Monangai and Swift had like a 7. Either one of them had a 60.
It was 8 yards at a time.
Yes. It was like everything was a chunk play. I think Monangai's longest was 30 yards and similar for Swift. So they just beat up one of the most physical teams in the league, supposedly, the Eagles, at the line of scrimmage all day long. And that stunned me.
KW, your concern level?
I think they have to make a move on Kevin Patullo. They have to at this point. I don't understand the rationale. If I was Jeffrey Lurie and I went down to Sirianni, I was like, now what's the reason that we can't bring in a consultant? What's the reason? So the people that are on the board, Dusty, of course, has got his eye because this is his pet project. Frank Reich, since Stanford has their new coach, that he's available. Dayball, we don't know what he's up to, but he was with Jalen and Bama, so there's a little bit of just, hey, come in and consult. Doug Peterson said he would do it, and now the people in Philly are losing their mind because Nick Foles does a podcast and is diagnosing things. Like, get Nick Foles back there. So I don't, it has to change fundamentally. The players aren't changing. So the scheme has to change. Well, we saw the Bills make an in-season, moderately late move.
I don't think it was this late.
And it revitalized the Bills. Yeah. And we've seen the Eagles bring in consultants and try to fix the defense a few years ago to Matt Patricia.
Just real quick. Will the way the rest of this season turns out, because no matter how the rest of the season turns out, you're still going to be able to throw up a bunch of coaching graphics where Nick Sirianni is standing next to John Madden and Andy Reid and Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin for starts of career, all of it.
Of course.
Are you beginning to be open to the possibility that maybe Nick Sirianni is not a legendary coach?
I've considered this long and hard. And my answer is too long, but I'll do it anyways. You and I are in a little bit of the same boat.
I'm jumping overboard.
Listen to this, bro. We are beholden to old opinions from last year that were eventually proven right. I was like, Sirianni's a great coach. He ends up winning the Super Bowl. We were like, the Chiefs aren't that good. And they got to the Super Bowl. This year, Sirianni doesn't look like a great coach. Mm-hmm. And this year's Chiefs team, even though they're losing close games, I think is better than last year's Chiefs team. But we're stuck.
That's a hard one to say.
You don't think this year's Chiefs?
I thought that a month ago.
Oh, I think.
Or 3 weeks ago, whatever. But now 6-6, I can't say that.
They're just.
I can't put 6-6 above 15-1.
But I agree with Brou. But listen, man. You're not Mr. Take Integrity or Mr. Consistency.
That's a good point.
That's me.
That's a good point.
You're allowed to just be like, you know what, Sirianni? Until you shake your head again, I'm out.
But while it's here, let me just, before you jump off the Sirianni boat.
I'm not. I'm still.
It's your boat. I look at professional coaches in all the sports, wins and losses.
I know, but.
And I get it. He's not Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. I get all that. But the dude wins. And there's problems right now. I'm just saying his record is his record.
Sounds like Brou wants to be the Sirianni guy.
No, I'm just telling you.
No, I'm a wins and losses
The funk is not in place yet. You're acting like it's already here.
It's coming. They're being booed the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we should have shortened this segment. No, I want to.
Is the robe retired? Everyone's got a robe on.
You couldn't even keep the glasses on.
That's next on FS1, Fox Sports Channel, Sirius XM. I bet if this year's Chiefs team played last year's Chiefs team, this year's Chiefs team.
Which one gets Mahomes?
They both do.
Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
Hey, check out the podcast. Gianna just told us it's number 1 in the country or the world, is it? World. Holy cow, we did it.
Number 1 in the world?
Wow, number 1 in the world.
You can just do this on national TV?
No, we have to tell the truth. Number 1 in the continental U.S.
Oh.
That's it. The continental U.S.
Well, that's more of a posting time for our friends in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube. We're streaming all the time there, and I was in the chat.
And follow Greg on Twitter because I blocked him, so I'm not.
Oh, Greg Jennings, Super Bowl champion, is here. Cincinnati Bengals went into Baltimore, and Joe Burrow put his feet up, bad toe and all, gingerly. Told the Ravens to make him a sandwich. The I told you so resurgent Bengals defense.
Really?
Yeah, really.
He's wild is on one today.
That one I was out on a limb. All of my own. People were throwing rocks at me.
That had nothing right there to do with
I mean,
the
I
defense.
How about that right there? Holds the Ravens to 14 points. 5 takeaways. Here is Lamar's stat line, Brou. Tell me what you like here. Yeah.
The total yards.
Yeah,
I'll take
good.
that.
Yeah.
That's it.
The question, we didn't spend a lot of time on it. What happened?
Well, Wilds, that's the $1 million question. The box.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Box.
The box has been.
Gentlemen, I have to keep it real. The Ravens are going backwards.
You think?
And as the physical embodiment, the human barometer, if you will, of their temperament, I must go backwards too. So the Jordans, which have been on my feet and on the table the past few weeks, they got to go in the box.
In the box.
Who knows when the next time I'll break these things out? Because it is not looking good in Baltimore. And while you alluded to it, sent a 3-win team, went into your house, kicked their feet up, told you to throw on WKRP in Cincinnati, put on the Ohio players on the stereo, and make them a sandwich, a chili dog, actually. That's what they did. And the Ravens did it. And let me say this. I had no problem with the defense. The defense held, I get it, they scored 32 points. They held Cincinnati, a good offense with Joe Burrow, they 4 times in the red zone in the first half held them to field goals. Like, the defense was doing its job. And because it was getting no help from the offense, they eventually just gave up the ghost. I mean, that's not, you don't want that, but you can only hold a good offense down so much if you are getting no support from your offense.
You were requesting that. You said you were okay with that.
Yeah, I was. Past tense. I don't know what's going. This is the worst stretch in Lamar Jackson's career, and we know his rookie year. He came into the league and wasn't a great passer and all that. Yeah, I mean, in his last 4 games, he's got 1 touchdown and 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 picks. The natural thing to think is there's some type of injury, his legs, he can't do what he's normally done. But he doesn't look, he's not playing with the same confidence, the same swagger. But right now, I say Lamar and the coaching right now are the problem. And Lamar in that obviously he's not playing well at all. He's playing bad. The coaching, Derrick Henry against a team with a bad rush defense, runs for 30-yard touchdown one of the first series of the game. And then he gets 2 touches, 2 carries the rest of the first half. All right, so I just think he had 10 carries, 60 yards. That's 6 yards a pop. They have, you guys know I've talked about this, when they've been clicking, they haven't seemed to get a great handle on when to use Lamar, when to use Henry, and it's just really biting them right now. But it's not looking good. Look, thank God for the AFC North, because they got a shot to win the division. But in a wide open AFC, even if the Chiefs are out, a wide open AFC, they don't look capable of doing any damage at all in the play. Now, I think Lamar can turn it around, but right now they are looking terrible.
Well, it's all about Lamar Jackson. Like you alluded to the numbers. I have some of the numbers. I didn't go the last 4 games, but I did the last 3 games. And when you look at it, it's alarming because early in the year we were talking about a guy that did not turn the ball over and throw interceptions. He's not throwing touchdowns. He's not accurate right now. Completion percentage is plummeted. Like the last 3 games, I'm just going to look at the Ravens through the lens of Lamar Jackson. If he's on the field, the likelihood of this team being good, we thought, was higher. With him playing the way that he's playing right now and them not giving Derrick Henry the ball, like it's an issue because Lamar Jackson is going in the wrong direction. And I think Todd Monken is torn. Like we can blame it on Todd Monken and the coordinator if we want. This is Lamar Jackson. This is all Lamar Jackson. I just would like Todd Monken to recognize, because I feel like they are so high on Lamar, and as am I, but when a guy is in a slump, you got to do something to get him out. And I think they're trying to throw the ball to get him out and eliminating Derrick Henry altogether in their run game, and it should be the opposite right now. Especially their defense is giving you something to hang your hat on. I'm not as bullish on their defense. But this is a Lamar Jackson issue. When they were having success as an offense, it was largely because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and after practice, they were able to play Papa Shot.
They're
blow off some steam.
They're failing.
They haven't been the same.
Lamar Jackson.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Greg, it's 4 straight games with less than a 90 passer rating, 3 straight less than 80, 3 straight with no touchdown. Neither of those have ever happened at any point of his career. So he's in his worst stretch of football of his career as a starter. And even honestly, that dates back to his rookie year. He didn't have 4 straight games.
He wasn't this. But remember, they went on a win streak.
They went on a win streak, and he was so dynamic with his legs that it was okay. He wasn't great passing at the time. Now, I was surprised when early in the game he broke, not even like a crazy long run, but I was like, oh, wow, that's something. And the fact that I was surprised by it is jarring. So I do think, you guys know I have thought the last couple of years the roster is a touch overrated by folks in the media. So I'm not going to act like the GM has no accountability. And I just said Lamar's playing the worst football of his life, so he has accountability. But to Wild's point, the roster's the roster, and Lamar's obviously, the Ravens' hope is their quarterback for the next 10 years, God willing. Which leads us to this. John Harbaugh should be coaching for his job the rest of the year.
I agree.
Wow.
I actually felt that way for this whole season.
And to where, like, obviously, if they miss the playoffs, I think that, and you can say, well, do I feel the same way about Andy because they miss the playoffs? The answer is no, because there's such a different track record, and it's not. No, I'm trying to. They're both 6-6. Both have Hall of Fame quarterbacks in their prime, but one team it has felt like constantly underachieved, right? And that. But even if, to your point, Brou, they make the playoffs, but by default, and then get clocked.
Right.
And if they look like this in the playoffs and they lose, in the wild card round to Buffalo or whomever they would play in the 4-5 matchup, I just don't know how Baltimore can run it back again.
I agree.
Like, Lamar was hurt a couple years, fine, that's why. But then you were the 1 seed, you lose the AFC title game. Last year, you can't get past Buffalo. If this year you miss the playoffs, you're losing round 1, just go backwards 3 consecutive years, you have to make a significant change.
He's just hurt, though. I don't mean to oversimplify it. He's hurt.
Even if he's hurt, I agree with Nick, because we're forgetting this because right now the offensive struggles are so front and center. It's always something.
They started
if the offense is great, which it was early on, it was the defense. If the offense and defense are great, they're missing kicks or they're getting a lot of penalties. Like, they have found a way constantly over the last few years to beat themselves in one way or the other.
He shouldn't be playing this poorly, even at less than 100%.
No, your superstars have to be just that. They have to be a difference maker. And we can compare it to Kansas City. As much as we've seen Kansas City struggle, Patrick Mahomes has not been the reason why. You can point to Patrick Mahomes. That's the reason why they've been that bad. No. But when you look at the Ravens right now, obviously the defense in the front half of the season, right now, When we watch them play, Lamar is a part of the problem, and that can't be the case.
So if he's hurt, you just want him to
play better.
Yeah,
the answer's play better. I mean,
I don't think he's a guy that it doesn't seem like there's some guys like, I'm hurt, but I'm still great. From the last 4 games, that hasn't been it.
Right, but that's a problem. I mean, the thing is, this is one of the greatest players ever. It's a guy who a lot of people think should be the 2-time in a row defending league MVP. And his injuries he doesn't have a sprained throwing shoulder. I've been told, force-fed this narrative the last 18 months, that Lamar Jackson, the pure pocket passer, is as good as anybody in the league.
Push off.
I'm glad you're saying this, because as a receiver, if a receiver has a lower extremity injury, but he's still out there playing and he's dropping balls, are we blaming the injury to be the reason why they're dropping? No, it's like nothing's wrong with your hands.
Right.
At least catch the ball. That's what I'm saying with Lamar Jackson. If he's hurt, I get that, but can he not throw?
Him being hurt would explain not running.
It would.
The rest of it,
and it might explain a drop in efficiency.
Correct.
But not from 40 touchdowns, 4 turnovers, the highest passer rating in the history of football, to what has been a month now.
Right. More
of bad
turnovers
football.
this month than all last season.
All right, they've got the Steelers next, who just gave up 250 yards on the ground to the Bills. So
get the robe in the box. Let's go. Out.
Wow.
Put it in the basement right now.
Wow.
I hope to bring it back out at some point, but right now in the basement.
We don't actually have a basement.
Where is it?
Coming up
Find make a basement. Put it in.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Head to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers are down 23-7. Rodgers
unsexy about that.
throws to nowhere, one of 11 incompletions on the night, but this one was Jonnu Smith's fault. You know how I know it? He told me. Take a listen.
When there's film sessions, everybody shows up. And when I check to a route, you do the right route, you know? Like, John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in breaker and he ran out breaker. John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that.
Craig, your reaction.
I'm gonna get on Jonnu really quick. You can't do that to your quarterback. Everybody knows you run the wrong route. It's typically going to be, when you're playing with a veteran quarterback, even the commentators are calling it, I don't care who's calling the game, they're typically going to side with the quarterback. This one was kind of obvious. It was on the receiver. However, these are, and I don't mind the chewing out, but when you go in front in your presser, in your post-game interview, and you just completely uncover all that happened and talk about film sessions and then talk about he's a true professional. You can't, come on, man.
Well, it made me think someone else was I don't think Jonnu's the one missing film sessions.
I understand that, but it's like he's poking at all these other things to almost elude why this offense is struggling or why they've had some issues or why this would be a thing. But also trying not to blame Jonnu because this just happens. Look, this was terrible. This was bad. And I give Aaron credit for going out there and playing with the cast on his hand. But Brett Favre told me this one time, and I will never look at people who choose to play injured the same. If you are a guy and you are elite of the elite and you choose to play injured, you better be, the expectation is for you to still be 80% of who you are. And it's like, when I look at that, and I look at Rodgers, and I look at that offense, he's not. And it's not even because he's not one of the elite of the elites. He just can't get it done in the fashion that he once could. But this Pittsburgh offense, not to be able to run on the Buffalo Bills, right, not to be able to throw, I mean, it was terrible.
And they couldn't take advantage of the Bills without both their tackles. The Pittsburgh defense, the T.J. Watt's been MIA, they couldn't. So there's major problems with Pittsburgh that are part of the reason Brou's mediocre Ravens are in such a catbird
We in good
seat.
shape.
But the Rodgers stuff to me is just so galling. And it's just, I'm not surprised by it. It's just Scorpion and the Frog again and again and again. But since we've been doing this show, do you think there is a single instance of Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford or Lamar Jackson's receivers making a mistake? That's a good point. I would guess, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't name them, but I know Mike Williams didn't know the red line, and I know Jonnu Smith didn't know the hand signal. You know what I mean? Like, immediately. I know it.
That was this year's red line.
Right. That was exactly right. Which is, it always, by the way, it's amazing that none of these communication mistakes ever happen in a 240-yard, 3-touchdown game when Rodgers played really well. And one of the incompletions was a mistake. It always comes in a game when Rodgers was awful and the team lost and he looked old. And then it's like, and listen, obviously, to your point, they missed the hand signal, he ran I'm not acting like he didn't run the wrong route. People make mistakes in pro football all the time. And one of the reasons quarterbacks make the most money is the unspoken and sometimes kind of spoken agreement of, you take it all. Yeah, and who was the quarterback that said, if your kid's late for school, blame it on me?
Gino,
my guy. Gino, and that was taking it maybe a bit far, but that's better than this.
Yeah.
And so I've said it before, I will say it again. I just do not feel that guy is a good teammate or a good leader, which is why I believe one of the 3 or 4 most physically talented players to ever play that position won probably the least someone of his talent could have over the course of his career. I think that little extra thing is not there.
Well, look, we'll see how this goes, but this could very well be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. Now, and I think obviously that'll look bad on Aaron Rodgers, but I think it won't look as bad as I would have thought it did in the beginning of the season when I was toying with that prediction because the defense has been so bad. And I get what you're saying about Rodgers. He's done this his whole career. It's like he'll take some blame because he did say, hey, I overthrew the long ball, thought the wind was going to catch it. I overthrew it. But there's maybe some insecurity there where even if he takes a shot at himself, he has to make sure he's not the only one he's kind of taking a shot at. Like he's throwing, you know what I mean? He's saying others messed up too. I will say this about whoever's missing the film sessions. I mean, if you're missing film sessions that you're supposed to be at, then all is fair. I can't side with you when your quarterback calls you out.
If you're missing film sessions, that's also on me.
Yeah, show up. You're a professional. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your handler.
Then don't say it in the media.
Yeah, that's the part.
If we were
if I miss a show or do something egregious, I agree. I would rather you not say it. But I messed up, and whatever comes my way because I messed up, it might be unfair, but you know.
So this is my only issue with this is like, if Jonnu Smith wants to go out there and talk about him taking accountability and running the wrong route, great. We need to get the context from him, not the quarterback, not someone who, because what you're alluding to in terms of Patrick Mahomes and Lamar, but I'll use Patrick Mahomes as an example. We always talk about him because he chooses to not do this intentionally because he understands from his position, I'm going to need them to perform at some point. When I truly need them, I need them to know that I've never lost faith in you, and I've never started to doubt you. I may I may struggle with it, but when you do these types of things, like naturally, it just creates a small little rift.
I don't know if you watched the playback, Greg, but there was like breakdowns on it that he like switched to like a choke call or whatever. And again, it was like kind of, they were trying to figure it out what the exact call was. Is it on the quarterback? If I check out of a play, I'm the quarterback, you're the wide receiver. Is it on me to make sure you saw that I checked out of it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, he would always do that pistol thing. Do I have to be like, hey, you know?
Yeah, so the thing with Aaron Rodgers, and again, I played with him for years, he's not going to always, like he did give the signal, but sometimes when you're not trying to bring a lot of attention to that signal, you don't really look at the player. Like I'm not going to look at Nick and say,
no, we've
had, it's just a subtle whatever, but his expectation is for me to always have my eyes on him. And so you saw the signal, he's assuming, but in this case, he kind of knew.
Okay.
And so as a receiver, you have to take that part of accountability. But to just say
Believe it or not, that play didn't. That play was not worth 16 points.
Right.
It was 23-7. He completes 47% of his passes.
The Who's Down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, from Walmart? Who knew? Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Live from New York, it's a show that had to ask, how many wins are the Patriots going for tonight in a row? Whew. It's tough. You know, you guys are trying to scratch out a win here and there to claw your way to 500.
No, we're actually both at 500, despite losses.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Ravens are in first place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
true.
First place.
Listen, I have never. I am a well-known Drake Maye guy, and I picked the Patriots to make the playoffs. You're gonna.
Make the playoffs. That was.
I am going to experience in real time what people say to me or about me, which is, man, I used to root like Mahomes in the Chiefs, but Nick is so obnoxious that I've turned on him. I was like, no way, that wouldn't happen. You're one of those people. I'm about to speed run that with you in the past.
Why?
Because at least the Chiefs are an actual dynasty.
An actual dynasty?
Yeah.
You guys were renting. You guys were like
this guy.
Who rented?
You can't say that to him.
Who rented?
Of course, I can't about this era of football.
This century.
No, I'm not talking
We had
this
a dynasty. We gave it to you for a little while. Then you guys are gonna miss the playoffs, and we take it back. It's okay. Second hour of First Things First. Today, can the Cowboys make a run at the playoffs? I probably think too many teams can just run the table.
Yeah. Do you think
the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs? Meanwhile, can Lamar bounce back? The guy's hurt, okay? Give him some grace for everything he's done. He's hurt.
That was an injury?
Yes, his toe hurts.
So that's what caused him to throw the ball into the ground?
I thought that should have been an incompletion.
Tuck rule. Yeah, of course you did. Your old dynasty's based on a lie.
Right now, Chiefs went into Dallas and lost. They're 6-6. Mahomes had one of the best games of his year. Not enough. Here he is after the game.
We can beat anybody, but I mean, we've shown that we can lose to anybody, and so we got to be more consistent. It starts with me being consistent throughout the entire game, not in just big moments, and that's something that we have to do throughout an entire game and week to week. It's not just one time, and we obviously see the last week we have a big win, and then you come here and play another good football team, and you don't come to play.
Are you surprised the Chiefs lost? Do you want Greg's answer?
With Mahomes playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, Greg, but I don't know.
Sorry, Miles.
I am surprised. I am surprised they lost because I picked them to win and I picked them to cover. But if they were going to lose, I knew it would be in that exact fashion.
Wow.
Because I just did not think it was on the board that Patrick was going to have a poor game. And that's kind of what we argued about on Wednesday. And my score prediction for the game, if you guys remember, was 31-27. Like I thought it was going to be, they were going to have to win in a shootout. They end up losing, almost by that exact 31-28 in the other direction, because when they've lost, Greg, it has been this exact fashion. They have 6 losses. 3 of them, they were trailing entering the fourth quarter. Patrick led a fourth quarter comeback, got the lead back, and then they lost anyway. That is the same with the Giants, who fired their coach because of it, and the Dolphins, whose coach is on the perma hot seat in part because of it. Now, I don't blame Andy for this. I blame this next graphic for this, which is they can't get off the field on 3rd and long.
Yeah.
And it was the first drive of the game. They had 3 3rd and longs. They didn't get off the field. Once the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, yes, they didn't score as many points, but the defense was elite. This year, they're the 4th worst 3rd and long defense. They have the 4th fewest turnovers forced. They have the 6th fewest sacks. So they're not making splash plays. They're not getting off the field. And that's how you blow leads. That's how you lose games.
Yeah, so I was surprised that they lost this game simply because, obviously, with having the Colts come into town and their backs were already up against the wall, you get that type of a win. You feel like, man, they can build on that because they had a great performance against a really good offensive unit and they got it done. You go into Dallas, questions on their defense. Is it for real? You know what they did against Philly, but let's see if it's really for real, the offense that the Chiefs were running. I loved what I saw. In all honesty, I know I give you a hard time. I just didn't think that they would drop this game. Now, in saying that, to support your point, this team has found ways, like in uncharted territory, really, to beat themselves. And it's just not been what we've become accustomed to seeing with the Chiefs. Not only on 3rd down, it's who gets the penalties. Like, the Cowboys had 5 first downs in just penalties. And it's the guys that you just don't see, regardless of how you felt about the penalty or not. Trent McDuffie, the passing PI calls, we just don't see these guys make these mistakes. The 3rd and 8 drop by Rashee Rice, the drop by Kelsey, it's every time they get a step or take a step in the right direction, something happens. Like Patrick Mahomes has the best game that we've seen him have, and it's like, man, the defense just couldn't stop a nosebleed in that game. And it's unfortunate because what we're seeing in your division, the AFC North, we would like to see this team in the postseason before we see any of those teams.
Not on this side of the table. Speak for yourself. I picked the Chiefs to win, so I'm surprised they lost. Not shocked, but surprised. I knew Dallas could beat them. I'm surprised at how it happened. Because you guys, I was saying last week, I don't think Dallas is going to put up a ton of points on that defense. I thought the defense was showed up. I predicted 27-24 Chiefs. And this season, every time Mahomes has cooked like this, they won. Baltimore, he throws 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, they win. Detroit, Vegas, and Washington, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, high passer rating, they won. So this is the first time for him to have 4 touchdowns in a big game and them to lose is rare. That defense has been a top 5-ish defense this season. And yesterday, or against Dallas on Thursday, they just couldn't stop them.
Couldn't get
and that was what was stunning to me. And look, that defense has been there for Mahomes at times. Their last 2 losses, Buffalo. I know Buffalo had some success offensively, but Buffalo and Denver, Mahomes didn't play that well. The defense was better.
Correct.
That's what happens. And that happens with my team all the time, the Ravens. But finding a way to lose, as you were saying, like if Mahomes is great, but the defense doesn't show up. The defense is great, but Mahomes not at his best. The penalties, like this year, they are just hurting themselves in ways that we haven't seen the Chiefs do this before.
Okay. I correctly predicted it.
Well, that's KW. This is like the 4th time you've said that.
Yeah.
The argument we had was which quarterback would play better.
Oh, okay, but statistically, you won that argument.
Well, it wasn't.
Wow, I'm surprised
4
at your answer.
4 touchdowns. That was good.
I don't know.
Dak played great.
Usually,
Dak
you
played
used
great.
to be a QB wins guy.
Guys, no way. Mahomes outplayed Dak that game.
Wow.
100%.
You notice what we're not talking about? I'm just no.
Cowboys
didn't even come up in the meeting.
have won 3 in a row. Beat both of last year's Super Bowl teams in the span of 4 days. Currently have a 24% chance to make the playoffs, courtesy of the Athletic Player Predictor. Here's Dak Prescott.
You're talking about two organizations that obviously know how to win, and we just beat them both in 2 great games, as you said, in 4 days, and just showing the resiliency of this unit, of this brotherhood, on top of everything that we've been through. I don't know if there's been 2 more impressive wins, but I can tell you right now that we're not going to just sit on some high because of that. We know we've got a big one coming again next week, and all this really does for us is just give us more confidence, knowing that we can go play with whoever.
Holy cow, they've got the Lions on Thursday. Anyone starting to believe in the Cowboys to the playoffs? Strong no?
I was everybody? Greg.
I thought Greg. I'll go. I do think they're definitely a playoff caliber team right now, but I still wonder if it's just too little too late. I do think this Detroit game is huge, and I actually think they'll beat Detroit. I think they're better than Detroit. Detroit, I think, is reeling a little bit.
Yep.
I think the Cowboys will win that game, and then we saw their schedule earlier. Those are all games they could win. In the past, I would have thought, and sometimes it was in the playoffs, but in the past, I would think there's no way the Cowboys are going to run off that many wins that they need to. Right, and I kind of feel that way. The question I have is, has Brian Schottenheimer changed the culture in that locker room enough where after they win, if they win 4 straight, that they don't relax, they don't get the big head or whatever? Jerry's going to start saying some stuff. But can they ignore it to the point where they will keep their hand to the plow and be able to win out against teams they should beat after Detroit? So I would tend to think no. I'm going to say no, they probably won't. I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
So you expect them to beat the Lions?
I do expect them to beat the Lions.
See, I'm not there yet.
Really?
Yeah.
The Lions aren't just, I'm not saying they're not a good team, but they're clearly not what they've been.
And by the way, there were 7 teams last year that won 12 games. Detroit, Kansas City, Philly, Minnesota, Buffalo, Baltimore, Washington. All of them are worse than they were last year. The only one that's close is Buffalo. Like Kansas City, Detroit, Philly, Minnesota, Baltimore, Washington, markedly worse than they were last year. And so, this is it's a very weird season in that all of the teams that were excellent last year are faltering. Again, Buffalo's the one that maybe is saying we're the same caliber. Yet, despite that, the playoffs appear harder to get into than any time since they've expanded it. So, we're talking about one of the reasons we think the Cowboys are in trouble is because they have to win out, because they have to get to 11 wins. Since they've expanded the playoffs, there's been 9 teams make the wild card round with 9 or 8 or 9 wins. Not win the division, and only 2 10-win teams ever have missed the playoffs since they've expanded it. And we're talking about the Chiefs. If they go 10-7, they're cooked. The Cowboys, if they go 10-6-1, we think they're cooked. So it's a very weird year in that regard. So because of that, Greg, I think that they right now look like a team that has an MVP candidate at quarterback, a legitimate MVP candidate if we remove record, just like how he's playing. Right now, the best receiver duo in football.
Yep.
So a top 4-ish offense, and post-trade deadline, a middle-of-the-pack defense. That's like a 9-3 team at this point of the season. So I believe that they are playoff, to Bru's point, they are at that level. I do not believe that they are going to reel off the requisite wins, and I think they're right now about the same caliber as Detroit, which is, since the game's in Detroit, I would just anticipate that Detroit wins that game.
Yeah, so this is a team that I believe in them, but not to make the playoffs. Yeah. This is the team that everybody's identifying now as you better not let them in. You better not let this team in the postseason. If they find a way to get in, it's going to be problems. And we're seeing that. I think it's too late. Yeah. And I continue to make reference of this game. That Cardinals loss.
The Cardinals game is.
It almost sealed the deal to them, in part because a couple weeks ago we were talking about this 3-game slate. Man, they got the Chiefs. They got obviously the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Lions. They're losing one of them games. Yeah. And I'm with Nick. I still think, not that I don't believe that they can win, I just don't think Detroit loses. Like, they haven't lost back-to-back games. Detroit's coming off a loss. They're going to find a way to bounce back.
That stat is starting to,
I understand that, but it's like Dan Campbell finds a way to get those guys up to play. But this Cowboys team, I believe in them moving forward. It just may be too late because of all the teams out west in the NFC that already have 9 wins. The teams in the obviously the NFC North, and the team that they're trying to chase down. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, so that's
with them, but that's their only way to get. Not the only way, but that's what they're hoping. That Eagles team collapse.
So that's where that's again, and I don't want to make this a math problem for the show, but just like quickly, that's where I totally agree with you, because the problem with where they are is the NFC North teams play each other. So somebody's winning the games. Mm-hmm. And so like you can basically, in my opinion, pencil in 2 NFC North teams into the playoffs. And so unless you think the Niners or the Seahawks or the Rams are going to full on really collapse, they're at 9 wins already. The Cowboys are at 6. Then you've got to be, then the only available playoff spot is Philadelphia, who's got 4 losses. You have 5.5 losses, essentially. Are they going to have the weirdest 4-year stretch in the history of pro football, which is go to a Super Bowl, almost win it, start off great, and then, full-on collapse, then win the Super Bowl, then start off great and full-on collapse. Like that's
Super Bowl next year, though.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what it would mean, I guess.
I think. We're going to talk about this game, but I bet the Eagles lose this next game to the Chargers.
Really?
God, I would hope.
So you think they're in the supernatural funk?
Yeah.
Okay.
The vibes are so low in Philadelphia. You're getting booed on Friday. You're the Super Bowl champions
It's
getting
Philly,
booed.
though. I mean, Philly.
It's a loud booing, though. It wasn't just like your regulation Philadelphia booing.
It would be a special type of pain if for the first time that there's a game that I'm rooting for the Eagles since they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they lose. Because I need the Eagles to win this weekend. I need the Eagles to win.
The Bears went into Philadelphia on Friday, left as the number 1 seed in the NFC. Caleb had a touchdown, an interception, and a tackle. Turned the tide. Jalen turned the ball over twice. What was the bigger headline for you, Nick? The Bears win or the Eagles loss?
The Eagles loss. Because I have a lot of respect for what the Bears are doing and what they're building. I know Wilds might be like wildly offended by this comp, but I feel about the Bears very similarly to how I feel about the Patriots. Like this is an awesome 2-year leap in 1 year with the new head coach, with the young quarterback you're building around. They have one's 9-3, one's 10-2. They've done it very different ways. Mm-hmm. You know what? But I don't view either of those teams as likely. They wouldn't be. Neither one of them would be one of the first 6 teams I would list as going to win the Super Bowl. And I know you might disagree on the Patriots part.
Once you go into Philadelphia and win, though, I think gotta just
again. And so I
give
just
it to 'em.
and so I'm saying the same about the Bears Patriots. Like I just think probably a little soft schedule, but a couple good wins, whatever it is. To me, the story is Philly losing a game. You can't lose the way they lost it. You can't lose that game because Ben Johnson just runs all over you. You can't lose KW. This is what I thought was going to be your focus. We spent more time on this show talking about Ben Johnson mocking the tush push than anything than we've talked about the Stanley Cup Finals in the 8 years the show's been on. And the Eagles got the ball taken from them on the tush push. And if you were listening to the broadcast, this was the other stunning piece of it that maybe we should talk about more later this week. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit saying, we think Jalen Hurts would vote against the tush push. Did you guys, if you guys had the sound on, if you were listening, He was like, it was really interesting listening to Jalen talk about it. He made it very clear, I was great at it before they started pushing me. And then Michaels says, I think that if it were up to him, the Eagles would be one of the teams to vote to ban it. So, like, the play they love more than anything, they get the ball taken from them. The broadcasters reveal the quarterback don't even like it. The offense isn't working. Like, I think it's fair to be worried about what the hell's going on in Philadelphia, bro.
I think a lot of your points are valid. It is a big story both ways, but to me, the bigger story is the Bears win. Because I just did not believe in the Bears. Like you said, their schedule was weak. Yep. Caleb's not playing great. He's doing fine, but I think now, like I felt like the Bears were the third best team in the NFC North. I thought the Packers and Detroit were on a different level than them. Now I'm feeling like, you know what, Detroit is probably going to be the team out in that division. Now, they play each other, so, you know, they can determine their own fates. But I think now, while I would not expect the Bears to get to the Super Bowl, going into Philly, as you said, with the Eagles coming off a tough loss, with them knowing their history of, man, we can't let this thing keep rolling like this, or it could be 2023 all over again, and getting that win. And the thing I like about the Bears, Greg, they don't go as Caleb goes. Like the good thing about him, he does not turn the ball over. I know he had an interception in this game, I think another turnover, but he does not generally turn the ball over. So he might not throw for a ton of yards or touchdowns or anything, but they can move with him because he's not committing turnovers. And if he does make some big plays, even if he's having a bad game. And so if he does have a really good game, it takes them to another level. And so I think they impressed me. I mean, I was not expecting them to win that game, especially in dominant fashion. So that was the bigger story to me.
Yeah, it was definitely a big story, the way they were able to run the ball. But it's the Eagles. Like, the Eagles' defense had been playing lights out.
Yeah.
And completely got bullied, manhandled at the line of scrimmage by this Bears offensive line. And again, the Bears can run the ball better than almost every team in the league, with the exception, I mean, they're second in rushing. But when you watch the Eagles, like, we already knew they had issues offensively. Now you're telling me if we run a zone run game scheme against you, the Rams did it and had great success, that now they end up losing that game, but they had great success running the ball. The Bears did it and just continued to do it, and they weren't gashing them for like 20, 50 yards. It was like 8, 9, 6, 9. Like, that is alarming, because you know your offense is sputtering. Like, they can't, and you're not going to have any issues with A.J. Brown, because A.J. Brown is having great games right now. So he's fine, but they're just a really good team that is finding a way to lose. And when you look at the remainder of their schedule, you start to question, can they
have a lot of games they
pull
could
it
lose.
Exactly. Before, we were looking like, man, where are they going to end up getting these losses to where the Cowboys can't catch them? Now you're looking at it like, could they lose to the Chargers?
If they play their game,
which 3 games are easy?
Hold on, the Chargers.
They lose 3 games.
He's saying they're
lose the Commanders, lose the Chargers, lose to the Bills.
I mean, the Commanders look good last night. I get it. They'll have Jaden back and division games. But Buffalo and the Chargers, we know Herbert now is.
But those are so that's the other thing.
This is why it's the biggest story.
Too. At the Chargers is a road game. At one of the Commanders games is a road game at Buffalo. It's tough. I'm just out here firing coaches. I'm going to make a prediction. If they miss the playoffs, I think Sirianni's fired. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs, so I don't think it's going to happen. Wow. But I think Howie Roseman
they
doesn't
fired Peterson after he
screw around.
How many coaches are you fired today?
Well, if they miss the playoffs, Baltimore 2.
We didn't even talk about Tomlin.
Well, you're right. It might be a long list. There's usually 7, 8 openings, guys.
Hilton stay, oh Hilton stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh Hilton stay, oh Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Oh, college football on Saturday. Number 4, Duke.
Yeah, I want to see.
Number 11, Michigan State. Make you feel old.
Basketball.
Boozer. Young Boozer.
It's 2 of them, too.
It's Saturday on Fox, 11:30 Eastern. Welcome back to First Things First. Packers sweep the Lions, move to 8-3-1. J-Lo turned into Jay. Oh, I threw 4 touchdowns. While Micah Parsons turned into Jay. Oh, I had 2.5 sacks.
That doesn't work.
It sounds negative when you say it.
How did Micah turn into Jay anything?
Micah.
Jay. Oh, I had 2.5 sacks. Lions flirting with the play. Oh, I missed the playoffs on Jared Goff. Jay. Oh. Packers playing great against the NFC North. They had struggled last year. This year they're 3-0.
That's big for time.
Winning by 13 points and turning the ball over. How dangerous are your Packers? Talking to Greg and Brou.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, they're very dangerous if we get this version of them. And I say that because when defensively, obviously with Micah being able to pressure the quarterback and you're able to stop the run, you're going to have success defensively. But offensively, if they're able to run the ball the way that they did with Josh Jacobs, we know what Jordan Love can do given time, and he's not having to shoulder everything. This team can beat anybody. They're going to get Jaden Reed back, possibly this Sunday against the Bears. If not this Sunday, then next week. And so you get more depth at the receiver position. Another weapon for Jordan Love. We saw what Wicks did against the Lions. Offensively, they're in a really good position if they can run the ball, because a lot of what they do is similar to the Rams. A lot of their success in the passing game stems off of what they do in their formations and their motions as it pertains to the running game. If they can't do those things in the running game, it really makes them one-dimensional, and you can't mirror all these same looks. So I love what I saw, and if we get that version, yeah, of course, they can beat anybody.
I agree that, them at their best is a Super Bowl contender, like a team that could beat anybody in the NFC or the league.
And I thought, Brou, that was the first time they've looked like that since week 1.
I agree.
Something about the Lions brings it out of them, but they looked unbelievable.
No, I agree, and Jordan obviously was great. But Greg and Josh Jacobs had some great runs, no doubt, and they need that. But the money they're paying Jordan, the stature that, he kind of has in the league. I mean, he's not a star yet, but people feel like he should become one. He's often in the preseason, not just with me, but talked about as a guy that could win the MVP. Even like he and the receivers are my biggest question with them. What Jordan, and he hasn't turned it over this year. He's only got, I think, 3 interceptions. I think he's gone 5 straight games without a pick. So he hasn't been turning it over, but he was special in this game. And he has to be special more often. And I think he can, and the receivers too. They dropping too many, getting Jaden Reed back will help. They still have a lot of other guys injured, but they have depth at the receiver position, not greatness, but a lot of good depth. And so if they get B+ and above level Jordan Love and receivers, then I do think they can beat anybody, because the defense is for the most part going to be there.
Micah is he's the first player in league history to have 12 sacks in each of his first 5 seasons. And it's because he is, and this phrase gets overused, but it's not incorrect with him, a generational talent. He is one of the best pure pass rushers in the history of professional football. And I understand that because of the Jerry Jones media machine, we started talking about one of the greatest pure pass rushers as if he were a nose tackle. And well, how does he stop the run? But those TFLs, by the way, are against running backs.
Right.
And so, he, as Tyler Dunn put it, he detonates games. And that is, to me, what he did. And so I was wildly impressed by the Packers, who I've not been high on what they have produced. I was high on the idea of the Packers, so that game I thought was awesome. I also think that this thing getting away from Dan Campbell and the Lions is a disaster. The Lions missing the playoffs is a disaster.
Yeah.
Now, he's not one of the coaches I'm firing if they miss the playoffs, but
they might have missed that win.
Right. I mean, and they make the conference championship game. They're up 17 on Brock Purdy and the Niners. They lose. Dan Campbell's like, we might not be back here. The next year, they're better. They have 15 wins. They're injured at the end of the year. They lose their first playoff game. If they then miss the postseason when they have been, I understand nobody's fully healthy, but we don't look at the Lions like, oh man, they were devastated by injury this year. Laporta's out. They've dealt with some offensive line issues. They have an injured retired center who's now going to stay retired because he's injured.
Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt in that game.
Right, but he's been healthy throughout the year.
Yeah.
And so it just would be, it would be really, really tough for the Lions with this much talent, because they do have one of the best rosters in football. They don't find their way into the postseason. And Wilds' beloved athletic playoff predictor
30%
gives them a 30% chance to make the playoffs.
And they're also going to lose to the Cowboys on Thursday.
Wow.
You agree with me?
Early upset alert for you, KW.
You just mocking me, or you actually feel that way?
I think the Cowboys win, yes.
Where's the magician? Oh, wait.
Colts have lost
like the Colts.
2 in a row. Daniel Jones has a broken leg. This doesn't seem to be talked about enough, Greg.
It doesn't.
Guy's got a broken leg.
Luckily, Greg just explained to us what Brett Favre told him.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner left the game yesterday with a non-contact injury, only out a couple weeks, though. But still, I do not love that at all. Here's the AFC standings. Jags, Colts, Texans, and then my Titans. 1-11. But the odds.
NA. They won't even let you place a bet on the Titans.
Ward's like, let's go. It's 4th and 2. We got 1 win. Can we go for it? Greg, are your Colts done?
No, they're not done. But boy, they are slipping, and we're gonna find out who they are. Like, and to your point, you talk about the injury, the leg. As I tell my kids, no one cares. No one cares. If Daniel Jones,
but that's what you tell your kids when they get an A on a test. You're like, no one cares. Shut up.
I mean, but no one cares about the injury because you've had so much success. I look at this team and I look at the rest of their remaining schedule, and I'm like, okay, they have to bully one of these.
Who they bullying?
Teams. It better be the Jags.
Jags are sneaky good.
They're sneaky good, but are you saying that the Jags are you believing in them?
I mean, against a quarterback with a broken leg. Yes. The Prince is not great. I think he can outplay a guy with a broken leg.
And so here's the thing: if Daniel Jones has a clean pocket, we saw it even yesterday. He has to have a clean pocket. He has to be protected. If that's the case, I love what they're going to be able to do if they can still run the ball. If that's not the case and they're starting to get injured with non-contact, you get Sauce, you gave up a whole lot to get him. Obviously, you knew what you were going to look like or you were hoping to look like while acquiring him. It's going to be hard for them, but I trust the Colts before I trust the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Here's why I don't think you should. Because through hook or crook, the Jags are playing some of their best ball, and the Colts have been bad for a month. The Colts' best game the last month was a loss to the Chiefs. That's the best game they've played, and they collapsed down the stretch. They show that schedule again, and let's dig in to this fictitious team that bought into it. They bought into their own hype and traded 2 first-round picks for a corner who's a very good player and sadly is hurt. But I think they're going to regret that because what you will look at that when you really, it's like, okay, that win over Atlanta was in overtime. Right? I think that was a London or Berlin game or Germany game. So it's been tough football for a month. The win over Denver, you give them credit for it. Denver's an excellent team. That was the game where they missed the game-winning kick and there was a leverage penalty called. So they have 2 wins to hang their hat on this year. The Denver game, which was in the final moment, and that Charger game, which was an excellent win. If they lose in Jacksonville this weekend, they're going to lose 5 straight. They're gonna get beat up by Seattle.
See, I can see them going 1-4. I see them splitting with Jacksonville.
No.
And then
you misunderstood what I meant, Brou. I meant 5 straight, including their 2 losses they already had.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that if they lose to the Jags, that'll be 3 straight. Yeah. And then losing the 2 West Coast games, and then all of a sudden, I understand mathematically they won't be eliminated by any stretch, but the soft data, the vibe shift from being 8-2 to being 8-7, I don't know that you recover from.
They're done.
I think they're done.
And we'll see, because if we were to put up the Jags,
you know what
schedule,
you know what you get about the Jags schedule? They get to play the Colts.
They get to play the Colts. Yeah, you would say if we're looking at them, you would they play the Colts.
They'll probably split.
You're not sitting here saying that the Colts are just completely done because they don't have a good team. We're focusing on just Daniel Jones and the drop of play.
No, if they
can protect him, he can still make throws.
Teams have figured out, the Rams, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Houston, they stop Jonathan Taylor. Keep him under 100 yards, no rushing touchdowns, and they beat him because they're trying to make Jones beat him, and now he's got an injured leg.
He's got a broken leg.
Hello, I'm Diane Morgan. If you know who I am, you know who I am. If you don't, who cares? I'm here to explain Italian Time, a holiday phenomenon where Italians throw away their clocks and gather for eternity with San Pellegrino. I've been at this party so long that I've eaten 5 courses, hugged someone's grandma twice, and been offered a job in the family restaurant. So this holiday season, make sure to bring enough San Pellegrino to last you through the meal, the after meal, and the entire goodbye ritual. San Pellegrino, holiday on Italian Time.
Saturday, first time in conference history, number 1, number 2, Big Ten title game. Ohio State versus Indiana.
Heisman on the line.
This is a fascinating game. Saturday, 6:30, only on Fox. We're going to discuss that game.
I'm from both states. I wonder.
Maybe we'll see what we go for. Lane Kiffin headed to LSU. Literally had fans giving him the middle finger on the tarmac, so they're not too happy about that. Ole Miss 11-1, but Lane's leaving them as they head to the playoff. Kiffin writing on social media, you know what, I was hoping to complete a historic 6-season run this year by leading Ole Miss through the playoffs, capitalizing on the team's incredible success and their commitment to finish strong, and investing everything into a playoff run with guardrails in place to protect the program in any areas of concern. Ole Miss AD said, no thanks, pack your bags, and we'll put your clothes outside on a rack like it's Bru's robe. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
Nick, your reaction to this Lane Kiffin drama?
He's old enough to know you never get everything you want. You got to make choices, man. And I have found some of the coverage of this informative and some of the coverage of this embarrassing. Obviously, the college football calendar is a problem. Obviously, you would like to think there is a body in place that could put up guardrails that prevent. Same reason why nobody in the last 5 years has been like, hey, Andy Reid, right before the playoffs start, $30 million a year to leave the Chiefs. You know why nobody's done it? Because they're not allowed.
Not only that, but like the Broncos.
Right, exactly. Right. And so that doesn't exist in college football. So those are big systemic issues. We all know that. But ultimately, this came down to one man's decision. And that man, Lane Kiffin, right or wrong, decided what was best for him and his career and his bank account and his legacy, and those are all within his right, is to leave this program on the precipice of its greatest moments in the history of the program. And that's fine. I really believe that's fine. You can dislike it, but it's fine. But with that, you forfeit the sympathy of like, man, this was hard. It was a choice.
Yeah.
It was a choice that you made that you decided would make you happiest. So don't then tell me about how sad you are. And so that's my reaction.
I agree that there's no sympathy for him. And the real villain is the NCAA calendar. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. It's just total foolishness. That said, this is, for the time being, this is college football. It's year to year. And I typically feel, and even still feel for the kids, because they went there wanting to play for Lane Kiffin. I get that. But some of those kids that play in the playoff are going to transfer next year. Right now, college football is year to year.
Yep.
And you have a chance to, I get it, why they're upset with Lane Kiffin. He's not just leaving the program. He's going down the street.
Down the
right,
street.
at LSU. I get all that. But you're Ole Miss. You're not LSU. You're not Florida. You are not a blue blood type program. This is your one shot to win the championship. It's year to year. I would go for it if I'm now, unless the players are just so ticked off that they're done with him. But if the players are fine with it, I would have been like, man, I get it, he's leaving, but this is our chance to win the championship as Ole Miss.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Brou, but no. Look, man, as it pertains to how things work in college football, like when a player decides I'm out, I'm done, it's hard for them to then walk back into a locker room and be like, but hold on, before I go, though, let me play one more game with you guys. You just,
but you
the
don't think
vibes
some of the players are
just
talking about, man, I think I'm out of here next year.
Yeah, absolutely, amongst players. They haven't accepted the transfer, they put themselves in the transfer portal and all the things. When a coach does this, like, we appreciate all my number one coach that has ever coached me is down there with Lane Kiffin right now, George McDonald, phenomenal coach. And I believe, I don't know this, like, it's hard to have him coach these games because he's potentially going to start plucking these coaches too. Yeah. So you're going to have a coaching staff that is trying to be vested in winning something for an organization and a program that hasn't done these things before in Ole Miss, and then completely try to focus on, what are we going to do? Having these side meetings of who are we thinking about hiring on this side? No, my wife and I talk about this all the time. When somebody puts in a 2-week notice, they're already checked out. I don't need thank you for the courtesy, but you can go ahead and go. Because I know you're not going to give me the same level of vested interest because you're now distracted. You have a pull somewhere else. It's not just about the kids. That's the reality of it.
You don't need AI agents, which may sound weird coming from ServiceNow, the leader in AI agents. The truth is, AI agents need you. Sure, they'll process, predict, even get work done autonomously. But they don't dream, read a room, rally a team, and they certainly don't have shower thoughts, pivotal hallway chats, or big ideas. People do. And people, when given the best AI platform, they're freed up to do the fulfilling work they want to do. To see how ServiceNow puts AI to work for people, visit ServiceNow.com.
Live from New York, it's a show that's celebrating the number 1 seeded Bears. No shots fired. You did a great job.
Thank you. Got a 1 seed out here. We got a 2 seed. We got a 4 seed. And a 10 seed.
They're both 6-6. Let's all.
Thank you.
Wild.
That is irrelevant.
That is not irrelevant.
We are number 1 in the division.
But
that's all. We got the same record. One's
Bring
a
the
4
robe out
seed.
then.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we more tired than Rose?
Bring the robe out.
Wow.
Nah.
From the man who invented S-Bob. This
500.
is
right now. Just getting the play. Okay. Right now.
Today.
Bar's been lowered.
On First Things First, overtime. What went wrong in Philadelphia?
They played the Bears.
Meanwhile, the stat that says the Steelers just had a historically bad game. It's not pack stats, but it is
so
just
it's not going to be cool?
Stats. No, it's not cool.
It's just boring stats.
Just a boring,
You're just
dry
teasing a boring stat.
But we're starting with the Chicago Bears win. They run all over the Eagles, 281 on the ground, almost twice the time of possession. Here's the Bears locker room, a shirtless Ben Johnson, and the NFC playoff picture.
I know you guys are hungry for more, right? It's it. Let me tell you something. The city of Chicago's hungry too. Get back!
have to admit.
It's so great.
That may have turned me.
Yeah!
I mean, the players are.
The players love it.
The vibes are sky
Yes,
high.
as you're the king of vibes, KW.
The vibes are high on that.
Sky.
I was ready to mock it.
1 seed in vibes, 1 seed in the NFC.
Also, it's sneaky
vibes.
similar physique to you, KW.
No, I'm much more cut.
You are?
Oh, I look like
What?
white Greg Jennings, bro.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
A little bit. Okay. What did the Bears prove?
What an enjoyable sporting event,
Okay,
huh?
here we
No
go.
congratulatory text from any of you guys. What they prove?
You're right. Wait, the
for
group
3.
chat totally silent on Friday. You're right. That did
Congratulatory
happen.
text.
Yeah.
Greatest
Yeah.
win in 5 years for any team I root for. I got crickets.
Yeah.
They proved a lot. Like, they proved short term that they can whoop you. Like the style of the fight was, oh my God, like they went into Philly on a short week and ran for 280 yards on the champs. Like that's a thing that the league takes notice of.
Yes.
Long term, like very macro for the Bears, this is an organization that every 2 or 3 years turns over head coaches. Like Ben Johnson is pretty incredible. Like I am thrilled. I am like football smitten. Like it feels like he will be the coach.
More than football, Smith.
Yeah, I mean,
Watching you.
can we play that video again? It was, no, that's fair. That's totally fair. It feels like he'll be there for a decade, and he's a great play caller, and he's changed the culture. And I mean, literally last year on Thanksgiving, we all watched a Bears head coach forget that he's allowed to call a timeout, and then on Black Friday this year, they do that. But for this season, I think it proved that they can win a Super Bowl.
This season?
Yeah. Now, is that the most likely outcome? Of course not. But the Rams just lost to the Panthers, and the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. And there's questions about every team in the NFL. It doesn't seem like the year where there's a dominant team or even groups of teams. And so if we can show you what the Bears have been under Ben Johnson since their bye. Their bye was in week 5, so we have a large body of work. They've won 9 of their last 10 games.
I didn't realize the rushing yards are that high.
They're the best running team in the NFL. They're the most explosive offense in the NFL. They're the best takeaway team in the NFL. They're the best turnover differential team in the NFL. And right now, the NFC playoffs would go through Chicago. So you'd have to go play in 20-degree weather against the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. That's not a team anyone is going to want to play. So, yeah, they can win a Super Bowl.
So, listen, I think that the Bears have proven, and I said this earlier, but I want to kind of dive into it more. To me, they have proven exactly what the Pats have proven, which is ahead of schedule. It would be, for the Patriots, it's almost impossible. For the Bears, it's not impossible, but it would take a collapse for them to miss the playoffs. Like at this point, it would be a catastrophe if they missed the playoffs. And you feel really good about the teams for different reasons, to be totally honest. Like to me, the Bears are a more complete team with a quarterback that is still more hot and cold. The Pats, to me, are a team that has, I'm talking about the offensive side of the ball, some pretty obvious weaknesses that the quarterback masks. But if their resumes season-wide, if you put them next to each other, are very, very similar. So 7th, 8th in points, 6th, 8th in yards. So again, the Patriots 3rd in passing, 20th in rushing. The Bears 16th in passing, 2nd in rushing. To your point of what travels better in the playoffs, whether it's going to Chicago or in the NFC, going to Green Bay if they don't win the division, going to Philadelphia, they get it together. I buy that. I personally would be shocked if either one of these teams wins the Super Bowl. I'd be less shocked if the Pats made it, actually, because the AFC feels more wide open. But I think that, and the reason to me those two teams are a good juxtaposition is they both have the second-year quarterback. They both have the new head coach. They both have benefited from, up to this point, a soft schedule, but they both have a signature win.
Yeah.
Like, you guys won, it was in Buffalo, right? It was in Buffalo. It wasn't as dominant, but it felt, because it's a divisional opponent, like so important. And you guys going into Philadelphia in a game that I had Bears +7 as one of the picks on Wednesday, but it wasn't because Brou I thought it was going to look like that. You know what I mean? I thought that Philly's offense might be just terrible, and Philly's offense kind of was, but I didn't think the Bears were going to pile up 450 yards of offense on what had been one of the 3 or 4 best defenses in football the last 3 months.
I mean, they had held the Eagles, the Lions, and the Packers to 16 total points in the back-to-back games. So, Danny, your boys impressed me. You know, I did not believe in them. I mean, I thought
Who's the him in this right now? Ben Johnson or Caleb? I'm being serious. When you said you
said the boys, just the Bears.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, you just got to give him love. And you can see Caleb really appears to fully believe in Ben Johnson, which I just think is going to be great for his career going forward as he continues to grow. But I think, sure, this is a year where it looks like, is there one
I think
great
the Rams
team?
are a great team.
Maybe, and I'm not going to hold the Carolina loss against them too much because it happens, right? They might lose 5 games this year, so but I just haven't been as high on the Rams as you are. So I'll give you that there doesn't look like there are many, if any, great teams, and so why not the Bears? But what I like too about them is as good as they're playing right now, there's still major growth because Caleb's not playing great. He's not playing as well as Drake Maye. Like, he's still very up and down. He doesn't turn the ball over, which is fantastic. So even if he's not putting up huge numbers or throwing a lot of touchdowns, they still can win, and play well. But imagine when he really starts, because he does have his moments. And in those fourth quarters, he has a lot of those moments. But when he becomes more consistent, and it might even be later this season, becomes more consistent, it will just take them to another level. They're going to get to show it. They got Green Bay twice. They got Detroit, I think.
Yep, they got one against Detroit, one against San Francisco, 2 against Green Bay.
So they're going to get to show it.
And Cleveland's defense. Well, to your point, Brou, Ben Johnson said today, and I think all of you guys will like this because he's been a truth teller. He said we're winning in spite of our passing game, and that doesn't make any of us happy. So he's not resting on his laurels or anything like that. Caleb clearly can be a lot better with his accuracy.
That's what makes them scarier.
Correct.
Is actually that they're not to belabor the comp I'm making. I don't think this season Drake is going to jump a level because he might be the MVP of the league right now. You know what I mean? I don't think there's.
You think Caleb's going to become more accurate in season?
I think that I think that it's going to be hard for Drake Maye to play much better over the next 8 games, including the playoffs, than he's played up to this point. He's played so well. I think we all expect Caleb to play at least a little better. Like he's gotten, to me, it feels like Caleb's gotten progressively better over the course of the year.
He's had games better than he had there. He's had fourth quarter drives. He's had great halves. He's had a couple of really good statistical games. By the way, the touchdown pass to Cole Kmet, Cole's going to be on the show this week, so he'll talk about all the vibes in Chicago.
On the flip side, the Eagles lost their 2nd game in a row and were booed on their home field. And more than just the normal booing, bro.
There's a lot of booing in Philadelphia.
I know, but this one hurt. Here's Jalen Hurts.
It's not ideal. It's not something that you desire. But going off of how the flow of this year is going, it's kind of similar to my response last week and saying no of any surprises of where we are. It's just a matter of picking ourselves up and continue to press forward and stay together in it and being committed to it.
Okay. Panic time?
Yeah. And it's up to the coach or the quarterback to fix it. Like that game, I understand was the defense was as big of a culprit, but that has not been the issue at hand. Like here is the gift and the curse of, man, the thing about me is I'm a winner, is you have to just consistently win. And the Jalen Hurts, like this is a weird year because Jalen Hurts' stats actually, I think, are better than he's played. Yeah. The touchdown to turnover, the turnover numbers are really good, but if you watch the Eagles and you look at the Eagles' offensive stats, you would say, did they have a rash of horrible injuries? Like, did Jalen miss time? And I don't know if we can show you the season stats, but they are basically bottom third in the NFL in everything substantial, and that 3-and-out percentage is historically bad over the last decade. And so either Nick, if it's something about the coordinator and the quarterback and the receivers and Saquon and the O-line not being on the same page, that's Nick Sirianni's job. Mm-hmm. And if it's just what Brian Baldinger showed us on Twitter this weekend, which is Jalen's just missing throws, then that's Jalen's job. But because I have seen this team fall apart despite having a good record and despite being healthy, in recent history, I would be very worried that they are on the precipice of falling apart again. But please, Philadelphia, wait to fully fall apart until after you beat the Chargers Monday night, which I really need you to do.
Yeah, and if they beat the Chargers Monday night, they're not in any sort of free fall. Like I wouldn't panic because I do really look at this season as being wide open for everyone. And while we talk a lot about the dysfunction in Philly because they give us a ton of reasons to talk about the dysfunction in Philly, their resume isn't that bad. It's not good. Those ranks are not good. But if you said, it takes 4 games to win a Super Bowl, right? Assuming they're not going to be the 1 seed, you got to win 4 straight games. They already have 2 different 4-game win streaks this season. Like if they go 3.
But don't you think the resume right now is better than the tape? Not that we're tape guys, watching the All-22, but their resume looks better. Their win-loss resume looks better than they look on a week-to-week basis.
No question, but winning ugly, I've heard, is a skill. And they've beaten the Rams, and they've beaten the Chiefs, and they've beaten the Packers, and they've beaten the Lions. They've beaten playoff-caliber teams, and they have a ton of talent. I'm not sitting here, I'm not a big Sirianni guy, I'm not the biggest Jalen Hurts guy, certainly not a big Kevin Patullo guy, but in this particular year, where I don't think they're going to be threatened by the Cowboys to win the division, so they'll probably be an 11-win defending Super Bowl champion that's the 2 seed in the NFC. It's not that bad a situation.
But that's the
to be
resume.
In.
They were the 11-win defending NFC champion the year of the supernatural funk when they got dog-walked in their first playoff.
And that was the thing. I'm more with Danny. If they lose to the Chargers, then I think it'll be panic time. I don't think it is right now. But if they lose to the Chargers, now they really probably are in that supernatural funk. And what you said about 2023, they were 10-1, and then lost 5 of their last 6 or something crazy.
Yeah, they lost 5 of 6.
That to me was different. If they beat the Chargers, like he said, finished with 11 wins, it's kind of 2 wins here, a loss there. I don't think that is. And in the NFC, who has looked consistently better? The Rams. That's it. And they beat the Rams. So in the conference, nobody, Green Bay hasn't looked consistently better. Obviously, Tampa, San Francisco's looked good, but they got their limitations because of injuries. And Seattle has looked good. You might say Seattle.
I think Seattle's looked excellent. Seattle.
But we have questions about Seattle's quarterback in the big moments. So it is just. They got to beat the Chargers.
But even, I don't know if we can throw up their schedule real quick. Even if they beat the Chargers, we are the Raiders.
Then you got the Raiders. They're going to win.
That would be a tragic loss to the Raiders, who some people thought could be really good.
Nick?
But they're already on a 2-game losing streak. Is my point. They have already. You're right. They went from 10-1 to 11-6. Well, right now they've gone from 8-2 to 8-4, and they weren't that happy at 8-2. And so,
as long as they keep letting AJ put up numbers.
No, but that hasn't been working.
Yeah, that's a bad record.
Well, there are those that think sometimes when they force feed AJ Brown, that's when they start losing some games.
But there wasn't any part of this, KW. You're the Eagles guy, or you're the Jalen Hurts guy,
and with a dash of Saquon guy.
Well, I don't know. Brou's the Saquon guy.
I'm definitely a Saquon guy.
He's Christian McCaffrey-like impact. Nobody's ever thought of
that.
Saquon
just continues year after year for that great. But if they beat the Chargers, though, they're going to beat the Raiders. They'll be 10-4. And like Danny said, I'm not. They'll split even if they split.
But if we did a
Washington.
segment, which team is most likely to get upset at home? It would almost be a universal. Eagles pick, maybe the Bears.
Maybe. And there was just what I was going to ask you, whether you're the Eagles guy or not. We'll call you Eagles guy for the time being. Picked them win the Super Bowl. I just thought getting run on having the tush-push fail and getting the ball stripped. That wasn't at all a rush in his cup moment. That now we have seen 2 times the tush-push be stripped. We heard from Al Michaels during the game, it's like, oh, it turns out Jalen Hurts doesn't like this play. And, made it clear that I was great at the QB sneaks before it. It just feels like there's a lot of, whatever the vibes are in Chicago that you love and that Danny loves.
Is the opposite.
It sure feels like the opposite.
Unfortunately, I think they're going to lose this Chargers game.
Then it becomes
spiral a little bit.
The Chiefs more.
I'm in a press.
That'd be more devastating for the Chiefs than the Eagles.
For the Chiefs, yeah. If you can't run the ball, it's hard to win football games. That's it.
That's why I like the Bears.
Yeah, that's right. On the flip side, the Chiefs are now 6-6. Mahomes had 4 touchdowns. Dallas had 31 points. Here's Andy Reid. Take a listen.
We're going to go after you every game. And, that's how we roll. We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game. And but that's the attitude that we're coming in with.
What's he talking about? Big plays? Or
I have no idea. I don't want to dissect it.
I like hearing that. If I'm a Chiefs guy, though,
and Patrick, listen, Patrick's talked about we have to win out. He never talks about more than the game in front of him yesterday, and then Andy said that today.
So what was your big takeaway from this?
I mean, just a maddening season if you're a Chiefs fan, because it feels like we've seen moments where the defense is great, and we've seen moments like Thursday where Mahomes and the offense are great, and they can never be great at the same time, which is why if they got in, which would require winning 5 straight, people would be like, well, why can't they win 9 straight and win a Super Bowl? And I think all of us would be like, well, yeah, I guess so. And that's the
9 straight now seems like a lot.
No, I
think
agree
5 straight, but 9, I was like, eek.
No, listen, I think they're going to miss the playoffs. To be very, very clear. But when you hear one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach ever, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback ever talk like that, and you see Mahomes play like that, it's hard to completely rule them out. Yeah. But I think what happened on Thursday was their defense failed them. They got the takeaway on the first drive, and then after the first drive of the game, we can show this is the worst defense in the league type stuff that they did. And I know Dallas's offense.
And they were great. 3rd and longs, man. It was 3rd and 7. It was 3rd and 10, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, but it was basically anything was going for them. They forced 1 punt, no sacks, no takeaways the rest of the game. So your defense let you down.
I think the Cowboys, coming into this game, Josh, what was it? Against top 10 defenses, the Cowboys had the number 1 offense?
No, they had been cooking. But
no question.
But the 3rd down defense is if we went back to the show we did after the Chiefs' Week 1 loss to the Chargers.
Yeah.
And we did a variation of how concerning it was, because I went back and looked. The first thing I said, because I dismissed any worries about the offense. I was like, Xavier Worthy was the centerpiece of the game plan, got his shoulder popped out on the first play, offense is going to be fine. I said, their inability to get to Herbert and generate any pass rush concerned me. And that has been a theme throughout the year, that if you are a competent quarterback, you can give this Chiefs defense real trouble. And that is a bigger concern, to be totally honest, for a potential playoff run than it is necessarily for these next 5 weeks. Not that CJ and Herbert aren't competent. Herbert obviously already beat them. But they're not going to play, in my opinion, sorry, Danny, a quarterback of Dak's level again this year. But to win a Super Bowl, you're going to go through Drake Maye, who's going to be there. Josh Allen, who's going to be there.
Justin Herbert.
Well, if the Chiefs get in, Herbert probably won't be in. But so maybe he'll be there, maybe he won't, and maybe the Chiefs won't be in. But they do. It is true they have to run the table, and it's just it's an unlucky year for the Chiefs to have their worst year, because since they've expanded the playoffs, 10 wins get you in. There have only been 2 teams since they've expanded the playoffs to win 10 games and not get in. The 2024 Seahawks and 1 other team. There have been 9 teams to get into or 8 teams to get into the playoffs with 9 wins or fewer, not as a division winner, not like how Bru's stupid Ravens are going to get in this year. But there's going to be a 10-win team left out, maybe multiple in the AFC, which is why they got to run the table. And they have squandered their margin of error. And if you look back on it, Brou, the game that I will circle the whole time that they had no business losing, they had total control of, was the Jacksonville game. They're up 14 points. They had a fourth quarter lead. You know what I mean? Like that, as up and down as everything's been, if they're sitting here at 7-5 with a tiebreaker over Jacksonville and one, all of it, then we're like, okay, in a wide open AFC, we'll take it. But that's not where they're at, so they have to run the table.
Yeah, like Danny said, it's hard to completely write them off just because of their pedigree. But there is no, outside of the history, there's really no reason to think they're going to be able to run the table. Just because we haven't, like they have had 2 must-wins recently that they lost. Denver, Buffalo, I'll even give them because they generally lose to the Bills. It's the Bills Super Bowl, if you will. That's fine. But Denver and this game against Dallas were like,
and the Colts
you got to
game,
have it.
They were on
Colts
the ropes.
Won, right.
They were on the ropes.
They did win that one, but 2 games where they got to have it. We're used to seeing them come through, and they didn't. So it's hard to see them running the table.
5-1 at home.
You got to run on the table.
They play the Chargers at home. They play Houston at home. They play Denver at home. They're 5-1 at home. Their only losses to the Eagles, who have their number, and then they go on the road to play the Raiders in the last game of the season. People are looking at,
Houston's the game.
Restaurant reservations in Cancun.
And the Titans.
And the Titans, who have 1 win.
Yeah.
That is very
Houston's the game.
Some smart people, Wilds, thought the Titans and Raiders were going to make the playoffs this year.
I did not think the Titans
it's an asterisk.
It was an
as
asterisk.
close as possible.
They can
They can do it.
No, you are.
I don't think
you
they
are
will.
Out.
Right,
you are so out.
Chiefs
I
missing
think
the playoffs.
they probably will do it. I think they're in.
You think they're in?
I think
Nick?
they're winning 5 straight.
There you go.
Wow.
I give 15% chance.
15.
No, I think they're out.
They got to win 3.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy, red bumps start on my arm, then my back. Sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere. And it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
All right, welcome back in. Yesterday, the Bills handed Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers their 3rd straight loss. Uh-oh, Willie. Pittsburgh only put up 7 points. Buffalo hung 26 on them. The fans, shockingly, not that happy with how the Steelers' season is going. They let Mike Tomlin hear it. Take a listen.
What goes through your mind when there's a crowd chanting to fire you in your home stadium?
Man, I share their frustration tonight, man. We didn't do enough. And that's just the reality of it.
Willie, I genuinely am fascinated to hear how you're going to react to this. You know Mike Tomlin. You were a Steeler. You got a Steelers ring. There's your towel.
You haven't paid for that.
Greg threw it to you. Not me.
Just in case you needed it.
What is your reaction to Mike Tomlin hearing fire Tomlin chants in Pittsburgh?
It was tough. Mike Tomlin means a lot to me on a lot of different levels, especially a personal level. But yesterday felt like the village is coming for the King's head. And it was tough because when you turn on that game and you watch the tape, through all 4 quarters, the Steelers didn't have an answer schematically or physically. They got bullied, right? You talk about the Bills being down 2 tackles and Josh Allen never touched the turf. That's not Steeler football. On top of that, you watch James Cook rush for 249 yards and look like the second coming of O.J. Simpson. That was tough. What's even tougher is our battle cry is Renegade, performed by the Sticks, a rock group. They played that and Steeler Nation booed. So this looked like it looked like I can't even, like, I watched this and I felt like a sinking, like a really like a sick feeling in my stomach, because I realized after watching, there's nobody coming through those doors to help the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is who they are. They've been mediocre all year. And the bright side to this misery, this football purgatory the Steelers are in, they play in the AFC North. That's the only bright side about it. And I'm watching Tomlin right now, and he said he's going to figure it out, continue to watch it, continue to support. Steeler Nation has seen this episode. They've seen this movie time after time. They know how this ends. And so I'm frustrated because I want to believe, like all the alumni, all the guys who have worn the black and gold, that this will turn around. But yesterday, watching Aaron Rodgers look like a beat-up prize fighter was a walking billboard that it's not going to turn around. They're playing on borrowed time, and hopefully, by the football guys, they get some grace. But it doesn't look good.
Wow. Greg, you know Rodgers. What are your thoughts here on that?
Yeah, well, they should be frustrated because at the start of the season, the Pittsburgh Steelers and that organization, basically what they were telling the NFL and their fans were, we're going for it. We just got to get the quarterback. And the reason why I say they were telling everybody they were going for it, because you go out and you get DK Metcalf. He obviously gets paid, and then you say, you know what? We're going to make sure we pay T.J. Watt because he's going to produce. We're going to Cam Hayward, he's going to produce. Jalen Ramsey, you get all these pieces.
Jonnu Smith.
You acquire all these pieces and you extend some of the pieces that you currently had, and then you get the quarterback. You're basically telling your organization and your fan base, this is our year. We believe that we have what it takes to make a run. And then you turn on that film, specifically yesterday, that was terrible. So they should be frustrated. They should be over it. And the fire Tomlin, I can imagine it's like you said, it has to hurt to hear that. But when you are constantly fed these falsities, if you will, and it's just not ever been enough, you're going to showcase that frustration, and that's what they're doing.
You got to it at the end with like the reruns. Like that's kind of what I would imagine it. Like, so I will rewatch a movie that I love 100 times, or I've seen The Wire 10 times all the way through, whatever it is. But like, imagine if you just had to watch an average show over and over and over again. Like, no one wants to watch a C movie 15 times. Like the Steelers, it's very impressive, legitimately, that they've never had a losing season since Mike Tomlin has been there, and he's been there since 2007. That's really impressive. But he's 0-6 in his last 6 trips to the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
With a lot of blowouts, and a lot of big numbers have been hung on Mike Tomlin defenses, some by great quarterbacks, some by Blake Bortles, right? And so it is just like, it feels like one way or another, and I can't really imagine the Steelers firing Mike Tomlin because of their history with coaches.
That's another good point.
But I could see them saying, hey, for all parties involved here, trade. Like, it's time to move on, because I don't see how you get out of, we're too good to be bad enough to draft a great quarterback, but we're not good enough to really win anything. Yeah. It's just this cycle of rewatching a C movie every time, and Steelers fans are too smart for that. I think they're finally fed up.
And the problem is when you look around the league and you see the emerging quarterbacks, the Jaden Daniels, the Drake Mays, the Bo Nicks of the world, and you look at your organization, we don't have that guy on the roster. And even though you drafted Will Howard in later rounds, you're still looking for a guy who can lead your team. And so when you put it all together, this organization right now, and you hit it. I mean, you're spot on, Danny. They've seen enough for it where they're stuck, right? Because they're always in the kind of limbo. They're good enough, but not great. They're good enough, but bad enough to kind of survive in this area. And the problem also, the roster's getting old. Right? And they looked old yesterday. That was the biggest thing. On a dark and rainy day, the Pittsburgh Steelers looked like they were aging by the quarter. And while the Buffalo Bills is like, we're just going to beat you up and make you tap. And they did. And so I don't know what the answer is, but listen, we got Baltimore this week. Best of luck. I'm still playing, right? I'm still passionate.
No, hey, you bleed the black and gold. It's respectable. Baltimore's going to be a problem. On the other side of the ball in that game, the Bills do deserve some conversation here. They needed the bounce-back win. 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception from Allen, 144 on the ground from Cook. This was Josh Allen, his perspective on the win over Pittsburgh.
This is a really good team that we just played with a fantastic defense, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. On the road to find a win, that's what we came to do. It's just whatever it takes to get a W, and we were fortunate enough to do that tonight.
So I still consider the Bills really dangerous, and that is partly because of Josh Allen, James Cook, their offensive line, and like their best looks dominant. But admittedly, it has been inconsistent for the team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. But part of why I think Buffalo is really dangerous is also because I'm not sure how dangerous any team in the AFC is. So why not them? But how dangerous do you think the Bills are?
Look, I still think this team is dangerous because of the guy under center. Like, as long as they have Josh Allen and he's able to put on that cape and they're able to do what they do, which is run the football better than anybody else in the National Football League, if that's what shows up when it's needed in the postseason, this team has an opportunity to beat anybody, because if he has the ball last, you believe in him. And it seems, or at least it appears at this moment, that the big red machine may not even be in the dance. And so when you look at the landscape of quarterbacks, who do you then trust? Specifically coming out of the AFC, and I think all hands will be raised saying Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen. So this is why this team is still dangerous. Defensively, they have issues.
Yeah.
They definitely have voids in that defense.
They cannot stop the run.
And that's who they are.
Yesterday.
But when
not
you
a great offense.
But when you supplement that by being able to run the ball, possess the ball more than your opponent, you give your defense a chance to rest, and those weaknesses aren't as glaring.
The Bills' defense did look okay against a one-handed quarterback.
Did.
Against a one-handed 41-year-old quarterback.
They look great. They look excellent.
This is always an asterisk.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I would say this. I'm not scared of Josh Allen. I'm scared of James Cook, because the offense looks different when it goes through him. You talk about him having 140 yards on the ground, and what he did yesterday was attack the edges. And when you see him get to the second level and have that home run speed, it looks like a guy who's, listen, I thought they kind of got away from him in the middle of the season. Now he's starting to have a resurgence. I thought yesterday was a breakout game for him. And I think the Bills are dangerous as long as they continue to feed James Cook.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and it feels like damning with faint praise. But we can put up the AFC playoff picture. And Greg, it's to your point, it's like, do I want to compliment the Bills by being like, yeah, but do you really believe in Daniel Jones? Or do you really believe in Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
You know, but that's Bo Nix. Like, the Broncos defense is really good. We'll see if the Texans end up getting in. Their defense, I think, is excellent. But that grouping of teams that would be in there, I know me. I will pick the Bills as the 7th seed to come out. I just will. Like, I'll be like, okay.
Very bunchy.
And that's fair.
But it's reductive, because it's not just the quarterback that wins games. It's the ultimate team sport. But I know myself, I would look at that. If that was the bracket, I would say, yeah, I think Buffalo's coming out of it.
Yeah, but the reason, too, and I know it's not just the quarterback. Sean McDermott finds a way to scheme in the biggest moments. He just finds a way. That defense doesn't seem to have the same glaring issues in the postseason when we know, okay, they can't stop the run. Well, in the postseason, I can almost guarantee you they're going to do everything within their power.
A lot of ball left, though. It's 5 games.
Yeah, a lot of ball left, and some big games yesterday that kind of shifted the playoff picture in both conferences. We're going to rapid fire through them, starting with the Broncos. Last night, 9 straight for Denver. Got to take them seriously. We discuss.
10 years from today, Lisa Schneider will trade in her office job to become the leader of a pack of dogs. As the owner of her own dog rescue, that is. A second act made possible by the reskilling courses Lisa's taking now with AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. And she can finally run with the big dogs. And the small dogs, who just think they're big dogs. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Learn more at aarp.org/skills.
All right, let's get to some teams that deserve some attention here. Last night in overtime, Broncos got a win over the Commanders. Crazy game. Glad I stayed up for it. Back-to-back touchdowns. Commanders' 2-point conversion was denied by Nick Benito. Greg, your biggest takeaway from the Broncos and their 9 straight wins last night?
That guy right there, Bo Nix. Bo Nix was money. I was thoroughly impressed with Bo Nix. I mean, even if just looking at overtime when you got to have it, had to perform, gets the ball first so you don't the other team is Washington's going to have 4 downs every time they snap the ball. Like 4 for 4, 71 yards, scored a touchdown. Like, Bo Nix was money from start to finish, something that we've been screaming for all season long, and he delivered, and they found a way defensively to get that last stop to win.
Yeah, I think Denver proved they can take a hit and keep on going, which was important. You need to see that this time of year. But Greg is 100% right. They also proved they're situational elite. Man, their ability to respond time after time is huge. And because the Commanders put up a great fight. I mean, Mariota don't get a lot of credit, but he was money good. I also think right now, if you're the Broncos, you need these type of wins to test your heart, right? Because this could have been an easy letdown game. It really doesn't hurt you. You can separate yourself on and on and on. But they never let down. And listen, you talk about this defense. They got after it, but also Nick Bonito, once again, coming up big in that moment.
You called him from before the year.
Yeah, I think he was awesome. So it was a good win for the Broncos.
So why I have doubted Denver is because of this graphic I'm going to show you right here. It just didn't feel sustainable. They were 5-0 when Bo Nix had a passer rating below 85. Like, normally you get that little production from your quarterback, normally you lose. The rest of the NFL is 37 and 111. But last night, when you get good, consistent, somewhere between like good and above average, and at times like great and clutch and tough, it's like, oh, well, if you pair that with their defense, they can be scary. Do I think they're coming out of the AFC? No, but they are. No, but
what do they need to do? There's nothing they can
do. They beat Marcus Mariota by 1. Let's not go crazy. But it was a nice win. To Carolina, the Panthers pulled off the upset over Matthew Stafford, one of the most shocking results of the weekend. Stafford had 28 consecutive touchdowns without an interception, and then he threw an interception. Willie, you've been on the Rams since the year started. Your biggest takeaway from this loss to Carolina?
Listen, ugly losses happen. You didn't expect Stafford to throw those many interceptions. I do think you got to give credit to Carolina Panthers because Bryce Young was great. Like he was. They changed his game plan. They moved him out of pocket. They showed his mobility. The defense stood up for them in a major way. I'm not worried about the Rams at all. I don't think anybody should. They had to go to the East Coast and get a gritty game. They find themselves in a dogfight. That happens. They were just on the bad side of things. I'm not worried about the Rams.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was Bryce Young. It was good to see him play well on money and gotta have it downs. Like third down, he showed up. Obviously, 15 third downs, you pretty much convert half of those because you were in those situations. They weren't great on first and second down, but if your quarterback is able to show up on third downs, which he was able to perform, you're gonna have some semblance of success, and they were able to have the success against one of the best teams in all of football right now. So.
And I also say, credit to Dan Cannells. I mean, because he's turned this
no question.
Every time you see him, he's asked these guys, he's begged these guys, buy in. We will deliver. We will be where we need to be. You talk about yesterday's game on that 4th and 2, putting in Bryce Young's hand for him to deliver in the middle of the field. That's growth, man. And you find, listen, number 1 in the division. Come on, nobody thought the Panthers was going to be here this year.
Yeah, listen, I think the Rams will still probably be my top 10 list for tomorrow, for top 10 Tuesday, and I think they will. We should adjust on Carolina though, in that. Like, that's not a bad loss.
No.
Oh, wow, you lose to Carolina? It's been like a punchline for 5+ years. They're a scrappy team.
Yes,
they're a good team. They're an improving team. And I will say thank you to Carolina because you've opened it up. The Bears, the 1 seed in the NFC. Last game, Texans and Colts, Greg's Colts, but Texans, it was a pretty impressive 20-16 win. C.J. Stroud returned. Texans now on a 4-game win streak. And I'll tell you this, guys. Make it about the Colts if you want, Greg, but the Texans, man, the Seahawks fans maybe would disagree with me on this. Broncos fans would maybe disagree on this. That's the best defense in football. The Texans defense, like, Will Anderson
is a monster.
A monster, dude. Like in a world where Myles Garrett doesn't exist, there's an argument for him being the best defensive player. Derek Stingley as a cornerback, maybe is the best cornerback in football. Danielle Hunter's obviously a stud. Only 2 teams have scored more than 20 against them this year. C.J. Stroud doesn't even have to be good for them to win games if you hold everybody to under 20.
You called everybody out, but we got to call out the interior of that defensive line. Sheldon Rake and them boys got after, and they held.
You can keep going on the list. They've all been good.
But they held Jonathan Taylor to 86 yards, right? And they really talking about really suppressing this Colts offense to 3 of 16 on third down. When you talk about what they look like on paper, they look like a team that's getting better as they keep going, that they're confident. I thought their breakout game was obviously against Josh Allen and the Bills at home, but you turn on this tape, man, they're getting after people in a physical manner, which usually teams kind of regress because they weren't going to save their bullets and get ready for playoff. This team is humming, and now they got an opportunity, Greg. They got an opportunity to put the dagger in the Chiefs come Sunday, and I'm pulling out the popcorn for that.
Look, this is not even about this is about the Texans and that defense because they're a team that for half the year was a lying duck because they couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball with C.J. Stroud, with anyone. And then your backup comes in and you get some wins and you find ways to just build that confidence. And all this defense has been asking this offense to do
Give us
a little bit of
baby.
something.
Give us a little
And
bit.
they did that yesterday against a Colts team that is going in the opposite direction, and now they put themselves in a position where they can come and get this division.
Well, I have serious questions about C.J. Stroud. Like, I don't know how good he is. I think he was a little overrated.
From a little bit of trauma from that offensive line getting beat up.
I think that's probably a lot of it. But I think people went a little nuts over a rookie year that was good but not great because he didn't really turn the ball over. But everything else was just like, okay. And now it's like, okay, buddy, you just don't be the problem. Do not turn the ball over. Can you be a league average offense? And that's going to be a team that people are not going to want to play in the postseason.
In this game,
and the Chiefs
to your
too.
point, talking about C.J. Stroud, I thought he had lost confidence. He looked very decisive, almost as if, you know what, if you throw it, when you get to the top of your drop, throw that ball with timing. He looked more on time in this game. The offense looked like it was actually an efficient and a productive offense that could sustain drives. It was cool to see because if this offense looks like this moving forward, and that defense we know, to your point, I don't think it's disrespectful to any of those defenses. This defense is a problem. And they have been all season long. We just haven't been talking about them because their offense and their record didn't allow us the opportunity to talk about it.
But you hit it right on the head too, Greg. You said, listen, man, don't be the issue. This offense just has to do a little bit. They don't have to carry this team. The defense is obviously spearheading it.
Injuries on that Chiefs offensive line. Not a great time to play the Texans. I don't know if I could pull off one of the outfits of the quarterback tonight. We'll discuss. All right, we're a couple hours from kickoff tonight. I got to be honest, guys, I don't know that I could pull off Jackson Dart's look.
Are those gloves?
It's
a leather jacket?
I'm going to be honest.
And a turtleneck.
I like the look.
Come on, Greg.
I do. I do, man.
Can I, with wired
That's
headphones?
faster.
I like the look. Not everybody can do it, but he doing it.
I can pull off Drake Maye's look, though. I'll be honest. Starter jacket, hoodie, jeans.
That fits Drake.
That's the pizza boy look.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I own every piece of that wardrobe. Just change the team on the jacket. But that guy right there
looks like he's going to work.
It looks like he's going to work as basically the co-MVP favorite. If we can show you the odds right now, he is right behind Matt Stafford, then a huge gap. So basically, plus 105, plus 120, basically even money on Stafford and Drake Maye. Then you got 11-1, 15-1, 18-1 for Dak, Love, and Allen. You guys think a win tonight? Those two guys at the top flip? Like Drake Maye, big night. We wake up tomorrow, he's the favorite for MVP?
No, I don't think he could do anything tonight that's going to make me change my opinion. I
Stafford's
think
the guy?
Stafford's going to be the MVP. I like where the kid's at, but it's still going to be Stafford.
Look, if he goes crazy and he throws about 5 touchdowns, no picks, and it just is a Drake Maye show, I think that flips.
I do too. Listen, I think it's still going to be very
against
close.
a Giants defense.
Yes.
It's not rational necessarily. I think Drake Maye is the MVP favorite tomorrow. The 1 seed would be back for New England. It's been a wild week. We'll be watching the game, reacting to it all tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.